Live.
What's that? Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper and go get it.
It's my home's house. And it is good. Woo! Arrowhead man. The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. You gotta fight for your right to party. Good luck. Fuck it.
What's up, everybody? Football's back here. We're going to jump on here and watch a little bit of this Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. Football is here.
Talk Chiefs, talk whatever, really. So,
I got to turn this volume down on the game. It's so loud in my ears. Okay, there we go. I can hear you.
They just started the national anthem here on my TV. I'm a little bit ahead of Bo, I think, so.
Yeah, you're like 10 seconds. They just started now on mine, so it'll be fine. I don't anticipate us being too in depth on this game.
No.
John C in the chat, good to see you. Hope you guys are watching the game with us. I'm going to be delayed, so try to reserve your spoiler alert texts.
Don't ruin all the excitement.
Go ahead. I don't mind. I don't get triggered by that kind of stuff.
Jets Browns, baby.
Old Deshaun.
Is Aaron Rodgers even at the game? Oh, there he is right there.
He looks skinny. I don't know.
Yeah, man, he got no pads or nothing on, no helmet. He wears one of those big ass helmets anyway, so. John C, not a fan of the anthem here by who is that? Is that who is that singing?
That's a football player. Is that
right. Former player? I don't know who it is though.
Is that Eddie George? No,
I don't think so.
Looks like he had a Titans shirt on, or is that the Hall of Fame colors this year?
No, that's the Hall of Fame. It's got the Hall of Fame logo.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Got Myles Garrett's in the house. I recognize that guy. I just can't think of his name. You know, don't put it on the bottom of the screen or nothing, NBC. Like, fucking idiots.
Piano player trying to save it. I feel like I'm getting lectured, or I got lectured.
DeMarcus Ware, that's who it was.
Oh, Chris Daly in the house. What's up, Chris?
Yeah. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, bro. Got John C. I just got an alert that Johnny B-Sides retweeted our stream here. So maybe Johnny's watching. I don't see him in the comments, but if you're watching, Johnny, good to see you, bro. We need to get you on sometime here to start the season.
Yeah, man. Get on there and talk about the duck races again. Talk some Chiefs.
Yeah.
Had a great time hanging out with that guy.
Yeah, no, Johnny B-Sides is a cool dude, man. Good Chiefs fan. Duck races is a blast. I don't. Not quite sure how it's that entertaining, but it is. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, is it weird to see him wearing the Jets shirt there? I mean, he doesn't have the Jets uniform on, but
whenever they show pictures of him in the uniform, it's just like, what's Green Bay doing with their throwback this year? Oh yeah, wait, I gotta take myself back. He's no longer there.
Right.
It was like trying to get used to Favre wearing a Minnesota jersey. Just like, this is so foreign. Damn,
wonder how they
18
determine.
years in Green Bay,
They just
man.
like
That's
pick them out of a barrel or something, or out of a hat, or what? I don't- Dude, the Jets, like, they need to go back to the old helmet with the jet on it. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I just don't like the chrome looking green color. I don't like the jersey.
I think a lot of teams need a revamp on their jerseys, a new reimagination.
I mean, I loved the old school Jets that I don't know if it was you'd call it Kelly green or not, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just you know what I'm talking about, right? The Jets with the J and then like the jet like little logo with
Yeah,
like over
yeah,
and
yeah.
off of the top of the J. Those are sick. I'm a traditionalist too, though. When it comes to jerseys, we've talked about this before.
Nick's coming, but he says, shocker, Scott doesn't like something. Getting in there.
First play of the season, preseason underway here.
Oh man, it's so good to be watching football. Oh, I mean, I enjoy other sports. Don't get me wrong. Basketball is fun. Hockey's fun. Soccer I can tolerate.
They open it up with a screen pass.
I'm of the age I can tolerate watching golf and not fall asleep within the first 20 minutes. But this is like when you've been away from home for a long time, you go home, you get like a good home cooked meal. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like I'm just eating one of those meals. Oh, yeah. Ran right up the middle, dude. First play of the game of the season.
Kellen Mond, is that who's playing quarterback for the Browns? I was trying to look up what channel the game was going to be on, and it was like over under, like get your bet advice here. All the like the web searches, you know. I was just like, what?
People are betting on this game. That's that's next level.
I mean, I've gotten some action on some games before. Not gonna lie, but
not the Hall of Fame game preseason week 1, man. No, I've never
on the Hall of Fame game. You might have a little bit of a problem.
I mean, if you're doing like the coin flip or, you know, like which side's going to receive the ball, I get it, right? That's just pretty much 50-50. But you're betting on like scores and outcomes. That's next level for.
I've always thought it's funny with this Hall of Fame game. I know they try to pump it up and it's at Canton or whatever and everything, but like the first game of the season couldn't be any more different than the last game of the season, right? The Super Bowl is like the biggest sporting event on the planet, and the Hall of Fame game is like the most like inconsequential, immaterial like sporting event. Like the Chiefs here a week and a half. They'll have Patrick Mahomes and those guys out there for at least like one series or something, right?
I don't think the first game. You think they're going to let them play that first game?
Oh, I think so.
I typically don't think they play that first game, or if maybe like a series.
They usually play like a series, the starters, and then they get out, and then the second game they play a little bit more, and then the third game, when they used to have 4 games anyway, the third game was like sometimes they play into the second half, and then the fourth game was where they didn't play at all. I'm trying to remember the first game of the year last year, preseason game. Was that against the Bears? I think the Chiefs' first team offense came out and had a touchdown drive, and I was pumped.
Yeah, we went up, and then second and third string lost it for us. And my dad texted me. He's like, "Hey, I know it's preseason, but I'm going to take that win and just ride with it."
Right, yeah. And, of course, we got a flag. Got the blue medical tent getting run into here. Man, the referee's been waiting, throwing flags, man.
There's a couple obvious players, right? Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Anybody else on these two teams you're looking for fantasy?
I've been doing some mock drafts and been seeing Nick Chubb's like going as like the 5th or 6th running back taken.
There's only like 6 running backs that are like worth a shit. fantasy wise. I heard what I said. I hope you didn't hear it.
What was that, Bo?
What? What happened?
What'd you say?
I don't know. I blacked out there. I don't remember what happened.
No, I mean, now that Kareem Hunt is gone, Nick Chubb's getting a little bit older, but maybe he's a guy you look at in fantasy, especially like I said, man, he's going as like the 5th or 6th running back off the board. I mean, I've been doing some mock drafts and been getting him in like the end of the 2nd round.
Wow. I got like my first 16 running backs that I would take, but like I'm trying to decide if I want to go running back or wide receiver heavy this year. The year I won it, I just had like flukes. I got Travis Kelce when he was the only tight end doing anything. And then I had Baltimore's defense when they were crushing it and like just damn near unstoppable, getting me like 30, 40 points a game for a defense. Just like, let's go.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys defense for me last year fucking crushed it. I picked them up like week 3 or something off just a waiver deal.
Looks like we got Nick joining the studio here. He'll be on shortly.
Cool.
Getting all of his gear set up.
You can see old Nicky in there.
But yeah, do you outside of those 4 players that I mentioned, Rodgers, Wilson for the Jets, Cooper, and Chubb for the Browns, do you anticipate taking any other players off these teams?
I don't know. That tight end Njoku for the Browns. He's a guy like every year I think people expect to.
Right. That's a good one.
So he might be a guy you could look at. Especially
because Brees Hall's coming back for the Jets, right?
Right. Brees Hall will be back.
Oh shit! What's up?
Hey, there he is. What's up, dude?
Did you say Donovan Peoples-Jones, the receiver?
Hey, what's up?
For the Browns.
Doorstop.
I mean,
on the back of my wall there. Yeah.
Unless you're in that dynasty league, are you really taking him in any early round,
Maybe,
or is that more just like shit? Everybody's kind of gone.
There's a sack. So, yeah, so Deshaun Watson's an interesting one to me, especially if you're playing Superflex or something. He might be a guy you could get in that like 3rd, 4th round that's got some upside. He did not look great when he came back and played last year, but he hadn't played in shit how long? So
I know Nick just cut out, but I don't think Nick's ever played fantasy football. Have you?
No, not once. Not one time.
Do you understand how
Can you
it
guys hear
works
me?
and what to do?
yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I mean, you waste a bunch of time and then you lose money.
Well, there's going to be no entry fee in this league. We're going to lose money hooking everybody up with a prize or one of ourselves up.
Oh
with
no,
a prize.
no! But ours is going to be awesome.
Hear me out. It's this top-down strategy,
right?
right? Where like you just got to get 2 friends, and then they got to get 2 friends, and then they get 2 more friends, and if everybody pitches $2, hey,
everybody, yeah. I mean, the last people that put the $2 in, they don't have such a good time. But no. I mean, I said I was going to do it, and then Scott said, he said I wasn't invited, so.
I don't remember saying that.
You have to be the commissioner, just so you have to learn all the rules. You understand the ins and outs.
Yeah, it's just jump in, right? I mean, don't dip your toes in, just jump right in. So.
Well, no, I'd imagine for this league, it's not going to be anything too complicated. It's not going to be a PPR league, which means like points per rush or points per attempt, right? Like that gets a little bit more in depth as far as rules go. I don't know, Scott. What do you think? Individual defensive players?
No.
Just defensive teams.
I don't even know if to do that, man. kickers and defenses, I've almost got to the point where I don't even play in leagues where you have to pick a defense or a kicker. I play that in your brother's league, the dynasty, because we've been playing that league for so long, and that's just the way it's set up. But
we do. I have a league. We do defense and special teams are one
right.
thing, right? So
Yeah.
there's like,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know why I've never played is actually mostly because like I don't want to have one of my fantasy players playing against the Chiefs and need them to have a good game against the team that I root for.
It will happen. It will.
I know it'll happen. I watch football with Scott every week.
And you know enough good players that you'll select a couple of good players, and that will happen.
And he doesn't like ever actively root against the Chiefs, but he's like, all right, I need the Chiefs to win, but it would be cool if this guy scored like 2 touchdowns and had a 100-yard game against us. So I could win my game.
I need us to lose 55-54, and I need this player to go off. I need us to win by 1 point, and this guy to get 6 touchdowns.
So,
yeah, I mean, I root for the Chiefs to win, and then I also root for the other guys on the other team to,
Yeah, and that's what I like about fantasy football. It like expands your horizon just around one team's focus, right? It kind of makes all the other games on Sunday and Monday and Thursday and whatnot a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that's
fun to keep track of.
Gambling in
like,
general
just
does
talk
that,
shit
right?
with your friends, start a little community, make trades, make horrible trades, make great trades, sleeper trades, sneaky trades.
Chris says you look like you're gonna fall asleep, Scott.
No, sitting here watching the game, man. If you had the first pick,
why does Scott look like he's held up at gunpoint? What's John D?
I'm forcing him to do this show. These guys didn't want to do it, and I said, "Hey,
I'm chilling here on the couch, man."
So football starts today. There's no way we cannot.
If you had the first overall pick in a fantasy football league this year, who would you pick, Bo?
That's what I was talking about. I don't know what I decide if I want to do receiver or running back first, right? And go that route. If it's
not like super flex or any weird rules like double tight end with a bonus or anything like that. Just your standard league.
Dude, one of the years I won it, I just randomly I was just like, I'm taking Mahomes, and that turned out to be the reason why I won it. So I mean, that was like different, but I don't know if I'd do that this year.
First round in a regular draft, you picked a quarterback.
Money draft, first round, I picked Mahomes, dude. Just because I wanted to. Well, first of all, I named my team Chiefin' with my homies, right? So I had to. He wasn't gonna make it to the second round, not in this league. There's a couple Chiefs fans on there, so
right.
I would say Justin Jefferson or CMC, man. One of those two. I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit.
He's like the guy with the Niners, right? But the injury history, man. Like
right. But that.
Hey, John B, if you're picking Brandon Ayuk first overall in a fantasy football draft,
come on and join our league, buddy.
I want to get in on that league, man.
That's maybe one of the other reasons that I haven't played, because I'd be like, all right, what Chiefs are available? Just pick like everybody from the Chiefs.
As of late, that's not a bad game plan, though, right?
Yeah, well,
especially with Mahomes throwing to 10 receivers a game, like.
Yeah, wide receiver's been tough. I don't
double up.
I used to just pick Chiefs play, but they spread the ball around so much now.
Yeah, it used to be Tyreek Hill and Travis.
I had the cheetah there forever, so.
Exactly.
Well, we did a redraft, so we had some people drop out of Bo's brother's league, Derek's league, our dynasty league that we've been playing for I think we've been playing for that thing like 10 or 12 years now. And I had a couple of people quit, some bottom feeders who just got tired of losing, and I guess whatever. And so we like redrafted the whole league. Bottom
feeders. These low
brand new, start over from scratch.
Just start over.
4-year contracts, 3-year contracts, everything, all that shit.
Right. We don't do contracts like dollars, salary cap or nothing. But it's
but just 4-year keepers. Yeah, right. Keeper contracts.
And my first 2 picks, I picked 9th. So I had the 9th pick in the first round, and the 11th in the second pick, or the 11th overall in the second round, right? Because it was snake draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and all these people in this league were like, "You freaking Chiefs homer! What do you, Travis Kelce, bro?" And that early, and I think maybe I picked Tyreek in the first and Travis with the second, and like, dude, those guys have crushed in that league. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm just fucking smoking that league. Like, I think I played in the championship game like 3 out of the last 4 years in that league. Finally won it last year, but yeah, Travis Kelce is a stud in fantasy football, man. Like,
well, dude, it's one of those positions. He's getting 30 points where everybody
Right.
else is getting 10, 15, right? And you're
right.
just
I mean, you've almost got like an insta 20-point advantage almost every week.
yeah, and then he's getting 4 touchdowns in a game, and you're just like, what is this guy doing from the tight
Do
end
people
position?
actually watch The Voice?
Unfortunately, yes, Nick.
I see all these TV shows, and like, do they just need to fill time, or
If,
do people actually watch that shit?
Hey, if John V is still with us, are you going to get in the CKL League, Fantasy Football League this year, John V? I didn't see you reply to the tweet, but I know John V plays fantasy.
Let's get John V in here. If you're at home, John V, get in here, man.
John V, if you can
We'll
jump
send
on, he
you a
might
link.
be at the restaurant, though. That dude, he's a working fool. So.
Well, yeah, he's a workaholic, but I'm just saying, if you're at home, hop on, man.
Business owner,
I mean,
bro.
he can
We'll
manage
make
it
it
from his
a
phone while he's at work, you know?
We'll make it a sloppy seconds sports production.
Yeah. He can name his team a team full of tired legs.
Dude, Jerick McKinnon was my league winner last year.
He crushed it for me.
He had so many touchdowns.
Getting 8 receiving touchdowns right there at the street, like at the end when he needed it. I went from like finishing like 8th out of 12 to finishing 3rd because of that.
Yeah, no, I mean he was winning weeks for me, especially down the stretch into the playoffs. Like he had that game against the Broncos where he had 2 touchdowns. Yeah, man, PPR too. This fucking guy was crushing.
You know what I really
John
like
an
about
invite.
watching the Browns play football is they just have a really strong running game. Don't you love the run game in the NFL, Scott?
Yeah. They've been in the playoffs once in the last 20 years.
Oh shit! I'm trying to invite John V. There's an option now where if you invite somebody, it says guests can stream this to their own destinations. So like when we did when they ate the chilies, right? We could have streamed it. We could have streamed it to CKL as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
John, type your email if you don't mind.
Don't put it in the chat.
Or send it to Scott.
Put it up on the screen.
Send it to Scott, and he'll
I don't know if I can send him an invite.
Yeah, send it to Scott. Scott will send it to one of us, and we'll send you the invite.
Oh, neither of the starting quarterbacks played at all.
Oh man, you gotta catch that pass, bro.
What was that, Nick?
I said neither of the starting quarterbacks played at all.
No,
I think
they're sitting off on the sideline. They didn't even wear pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's saying here. I don't know if he can get in. I don't know how to do this. Like invite someone in.
Trying to.
No, the only options that show me is Gmail, email, and Messenger.
I don't know. Did John V even say he could jump on or no?
It says I'm here. I'm here. Get on here, bro.
Yeah.
It's preseason for the refs too. They got to get their practice in. I'm a little behind, so always behind. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be funny to see an NFL ref at the gym sitting there on a machine.
If I so John V just tweeted me his email address, so I'm gonna
text it to me. I'll shoot it over to him.
Well, I'm on my phone, so that's the problem.
Hey, brother, they've been beating all the flags flying, you know.
All right, I'll be back.
You get in, you make that game about you. How's weather in Kentucky, Bo?
Oh man, it's excellent here. It rained all day.
Did you watch any of that video about that guy that I sent you that like lives on that farm in Kentucky?
I think I had seen it, so I kind of just glanced over it.
You're like,
was it
no,
the one
I
in the
ignored
personal?
your message.
Yeah, I just said
Yeah, it was in text.
the group or the just our individual one.
I think it might have just been to you.
The
Took us,
dude,
like,
the dude with no identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent it to you. I was like, go full Kentucky.
That's impressive. He's able to pull it off.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, dude, how's that dude like have a farm? I mean, he's got to pay taxes on it, right?
I just texted you and Nick both John B's email address.
Gotcha.
Oh, you got to catch that fucking pass. You're gonna make the team, dude.
Womp womp.
That ain't how you make the team.
That guy's like, oh, dude, you ain't making the team. Oh,
nope.
Another flag. Can't wait for another season of flag football.
Do I always look this bad?
No, sometimes you look worse.
I mean, that you still look that bad.
All right, John. Sent it off. Check your inbox soon here. All these tabs. So many tabs. Where's the game? There's the game. What's the score? It's one of those.
0-0.
The defensive battle.
I just hope they run it up the middle here.
So we talked about this on the show last night. If you all missed that, you can go back and watch it. But let's go around the horn here. Jets, they make the playoffs this year?
Oh no. Oh no. Fumbled the punt right out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Oh man, I was on the play before that. It was still it lined up perfectly. I forgot.
Oh,
play ahead. As always, this is how Chiefs game.
Don't worry, it gets worse.
So,
do the Jets make the playoffs? I think so. I mean, there's seven teams are going to make it, right?
Right. Bo, Jets make the playoffs this year?
I'll just be the contrarian just for fun and say no. I think they're one of those teams that are just gonna be overhyped, and they're gonna put so much weight on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders when he's learning a new system around all new guys except Alan Lazard, and they brought in
John B. I think Bo emailed you, right?
Your Gmail.
I texted them that Gmail address that you sent me, John.
Here, read it out loud, Bo. Read it out loud over the internet, Bo.
I'll send another one. It's not a problem. It's coming. Which account? It should be coming from. It's gonna be coming from my private account, John. So it might check like your spam folder. I can switch over to the Chiefs Kingdom account, I guess, and send you one.
Okay, how about the Browns? Browns make the playoffs this year?
No.
I don't think so.
They do. Unless they're just one of those teams that everybody's sleeping on, and there's no reason. They just have that, like, remember the Titans kind of season, where they just all get inspired during preseason and do something. Right. There's nothing that they're building off of last year to even be contenders for this year.
I made the easiest bet ever, easiest $100 I'm ever going to make probably in my life with Nick from Locker Room Rant. I bet him $100 that the Bengals were going to finish ahead of the Browns in that division, and he actually took that bet. Like, he bet me $100 that the Browns were going to finish ahead of the Bengals, and I'm like, I'll take that all day long.
Wow. Yeah, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Let's see. Do we go with the team that has been in the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, or the team that has the guy that's played like 6 games in the last 3 years?
Scott,
Ooh. See you, Bo.
Oh, he was getting
There
ready
he
to ask me
goes.
something.
I know. He's probably trying to juggle his tabs and close this out.
You could. Oh, I just heard somebody.
Oh, popped in down there.
so many tabs. I started closing out tabs, and
That's what I said.
Yeah,
You probably clicked the wrong tab.
I was gonna say, Scott, text John the email you sent me and see if that's the one he's still using.
What's that now?
Would you mind texting John the email you sent me just to make sure it's the correct one?
Yeah, I mean, he messaged it to me. Oh, there's a
Oh.
That was a sick catch.
Never
Nice
mind.
throw, too.
I'm gonna try to refresh my feed here.
Let's
Or
see
go
if
to
I
my
do.
other site.
I missed the Jets logo, Scott. I heard you talking about that on the helmet, but I like that dark, like metallic green on the helmet. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't like the metallic green. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Well, you know,
I'll be right back.
you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong.
All right, I think I got like 10 seconds or 20 seconds behind you guys. They're showing the
Hey,
twin
John
brothers.
B, I just DM'd you the link on Twitter. So maybe try that. Rondé Barber, his brother Tiki Barber played for the Giants, right?
The Barber twins. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Rondé Barber's teeth are real? That dude's fucking got the whitest teeth I ever saw in my entire life. He's like 50.
Fucking weird question.
He's like fucking 50 years old.
No, those are veneers, bro.
I know.
Those are-
That was what I was saying.
Scott's sitting there going like, that motherfucker's teeth aren't real.
Those motherfucking teeth aren't
Look,
real.
there's a picture of
man.
him when he was playing. His teeth ain't even as white as they are now.
4,
Hey, don't hate on the dude,
5,
you know?
6.
I'm not
All
hating
right,
on
I'm
him, dude. I
like 10
just
seconds
think
behind
it's funny
you.
when you see people that are like 50, 60 years old. Not that he's 60 years old, but and they got like perfectly white teeth.
There's a great billboard in Austin, Texas for a dental office, and it's of this family smiling, right? And the dad's missing a tooth. And he's just like, this is why teeth are important, because you didn't even know that they're all missing eyebrows. And you look again and like the whole family's missing eyebrows, but you literally just see the dude missing a tooth. And you're like, no, okay. All right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, people are wrecking their
Well
cars
done,
trying
sir.
to like put that riddle together.
John B should have got the link on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you people are
It's
calling it.
3 letters. I think I spelled it right.
Are you saying you
Oh,
X'd
he's
John?
saying he double checked it. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Boop. Something affects the memory. I sent it to the wrong one. That's my bad.
Maybe that person will join.
Some random dude.
I guess I've sent John something before because now his name popped up when I put in the right.
Should say, it should say like undelivered, right, or something if you had the wrong email address.
I am not keeping my inbox open or my email open. I just sent it and closed it.
Man, there's a
I'm using the link through
54-yarder down the
StreamYard.
middle. It's a nice kick.
Nice. Good kick.
There's John V's guy
Lining
Robert
up for the
Sala.
kick.
They didn't
He
seem
takes
to
the
need
kick.
to,
It's in the air. That's a nice kick. Yeah, that's a great kick.
Sirloin, did they draft him as early as the 49ers drafted their kicker? Didn't the 49ers draft a kicker in like the 3rd round?
John V. Are you still with us, John V?
I sent another one, and this time your name popped up. So I think I sent it to the right place now. That's
What?
clerical error on this end.
Oh, cool.
If only there was a way to stream it, the game, so people could see where we're at. Or I could just watch where you guys are at, so there's no delay.
Yeah. I mean, I could like FaceTime you on my phone. Just hold the phone.
We may or may not have done that for the season for me when I had
we
spotty
have done
reception.
that before.
What is
soon
it?
Apple like figure that out, start charging you. Be like, oh, it's $300 for illegally streaming a game over FaceTime.
All the I don't know if you guys noticed, if you guys use apps on multiple devices and whatnot, but they're starting to crack down on how many devices you can use accounts for, and you have to go through a whole process.
Yeah,
I travel for a living, which sucks. So like every 3 or 4 months now, I'm having to create a new password and remember my login code and check my verification email for everything from Netflix to Hulu to Prime.
Dude, I signed up for a VPN when I was doing some international travel, and I forgot I had it on, and I had it on like some country in Europe because at the time before they got wise to it, because like Netflix has different shows depending on where you are in the world that you can view.
Yeah.
And so like if like Europe has like Rick and Morty on Netflix, but they don't have it on the US, and so at the time I was like I just set it to wherever, and like then I was like trying to do some kind of banking thing, and my bank was like called me, and they're like, "Are you in France?" And I was like, no. They're like, well, we just showed a login to your account from a computer in, Paris or wherever. I was like, oh shit, that wasn't me. And then they're like, it took her a second. She's like, are you on a VPN? I was like, oh yeah, doing that to get around the Netflix thing. Thought someone was like trying to hack my bank account.
My mom called me yesterday. She's like, hey, I think somebody's using your Wells Fargo card. I just got a text message saying they withdrew $300 and something, right? And I'm like, what? And I get on my bank account. I'm like, wait, you don't have access to my account. What are you talking about? Right? It totally just caught me off guard. She's like, no, I got an alert and it's saying that your card. And I was just like, no, mom, like you don't have access to my account. I don't have you set up as like an notify my mom if my bank account is something that's right? Like it's like
putting your allowance in there every week.
I think you need to call the bank and have them check your account.
Oh, there you go.
No, I think it's your phone.
Good run. Did the ball come out? Was it a turnover? Oh, that was a turnover. Good run.
Ooh,
turnover.
I heard it.
Uh-oh.
Do we have to add him or can he add himself?
What kind of odds are we giving on whether or not John V smashes his TV during this broadcast?
Is John's screen black to everybody else or just me?
No, it's black for everybody.
Yeah, you got a black screen there.
He's doing one of those darkness retreats like Aaron Rodgers.
Doing some method acting, some method fan watching.
Yeah.
I heard that John V laughed there for a second. So
I did.
Got to put on pants, put up the green screen. Oh, he's out.
There he goes.
The put on pants comment hit too close.
So I sent you guys those pictures of those peppers that I picked from my garden, right? Did you see them? Like, I had a ghost pepper and a Carolina Reaper, and like my daughter's like, eat the ghost pepper, and I was like, I've eaten them out of the garden before, dude. That fucking thing wrecked me.
Hotter than the
I don't know why you would do that, but
hotter than the what?
Hotter than the Apollo.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. I just keep adding you. I don't know if you're ready.
We might have John V.
It must have had another chemical spill in his state. Black fog.
Do we have John V?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so far we got a fumble and a missed field goal. So
There you go. Come on, Zach Wilson.
Nope. Shit.
Oh no, that ain't gonna get it done.
we think they moved Zach Wilson to somebody. You think Zach Wilson starts for another team in the NFL?
It's hard to say, right?
It's such a high draft pick, man. The guy's got somebody at some point is going to take a chance on the guy. You think?
Yeah, but like
You don't think that they're kind of? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Just every time they do that, it doesn't work out. Like Rosen didn't work out. Sam Darnold didn't work out.
Brady Quinn didn't work out with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean it's just.
I mean, I'm not saying it would work. I'm saying, do you think a team will look at Zach Wilson and say, "Oh, we can figure him out and help him out and get him straightened out"?
I wouldn't. I don't want to be ignorant and say no. I don't think teams would do that because I think there's a couple teams that are struggling enough that they would consider a prospect like that. But
yeah,
I think what we're witnessing is him just kind of like learning some more under Aaron Rodgers, right? I think this is like a slow investment trying to play the long run. I don't know that they're necessarily wanting to give him away.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, by the time Aaron Rodgers' contract is up, he's going to have gone through what 3 or 4 of his 5 years for his rookie deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of that Jordan Love deal, right? I mean,
I got to jump out. I got a message from someone. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I mean, if Jordan Love's any good now, like their window with his like cheap, contract is basically almost over.
Half of me's got to wonder if there's like a handshake, nod, and a wink that like it's like, hey, Aaron, you played for 20 years, 19 years now, man. Like, are you gonna try to Tom Brady it, or can you just like show this guy what's up and buy out your contract when? I don't know. That's more of a conspiracy. I don't see that being. I don't know. It's a good point. Do they hold on to somebody for that long? They need a backup. Why not have a great backup that you
for sure
on his rookie contract though?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely look like they're going to keep him. The older I get, the worse I feel for those guys. You know what I mean? They come into the league and for whatever reason, don't pan out, whether it's poor development from the coaches or they just can't pick up the game or whatever.
I always hate to see like a bright prospect go to like the Lions or the Browns or something, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna turn it around, right?" Like it's just like, oh.
You know what I think about
like
a lot
Megatron, man. Like I feel like he got shafted.
Small Charles, man. I mean, really, just these bright prospects on bad teams.
I mean, okay. We've had our lulls, but I don't feel like we are the perennial losing team the way some of these teams are.
Definitely not. We're not like the Browns or the Lions, right? Or even the Bengals before a couple of years ago.
Yeah, before Burrow.
Right.
Pre-Burrow Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like we're getting everybody in here.
It's like John V is driving back from the crime scene.
Oh, what's up?
What is up, John V?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Dude, I don't know. The restaurant was built in like 1929 during, something. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Usually there's some good spots in there that I can do, but I was by the walk-in, so maybe it was just like awful. But anyway, I'm in my car, so I have some good. Can you hear me? Everything's clear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got my Jets colors on.
Portable mic on.
Sounds cool. It's just a nice AirPod. I wear my green so I could traumatize Nick because I told him that the Jets were going to win. What's going on, gentlemen?
Your newfound hatred for Aaron Rodgers versus giving Nick shit, right?
Oh man, you know what? I like Rodgers sometimes, and there's other times I don't like him. I like him when we beat him. I like him a lot when they beat him.
Yeah, everybody loves that, Rogers.
Yeah, that Rodgers is actually. I kind of wish that they would feature Deshaun Watson today and Rodgers. I kind of wish they treat it like a real preseason and let these guys get their reps. But we're gonna get the thirds and the fourths and whatever they want to call them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's awful.
The Browns third stringers, that's bad.
The Browns just, as much as Nick thinks that this team is built to succeed, they are just they suck, guys.
We were talking about the bet that I made with him, where he bet me $100 that the Browns would finish ahead of the Bengals in the division, and I'm like, I will take that bet. So
yeah,
I didn't forget about it either.
I didn't forget about it. Listen, isn't it on one of my? It's on one of my recent episodes. I mean, we've got proof. Like we've got recorded evidence. Like he's not going to weasel out of this one, and he's probably watching right now too.
Yeah. So you work in the restaurant tonight?
Yeah, I'm here most evenings, man. I need to get a lot of things done with the kids during the day. So the evenings are good for me, man. And I like evenings. I like my days to get stuff done. And if I need to switch, we switch out, my brother and I. But for the most part, you know, I prefer the evenings. And they're not bad. I mean, we close at 7, so it's not like, you know, I'm not stuck here into the, you know, into the graveyard shift. So
that's really good.
Yeah, we were open till 8. We were 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 6 days a week. And then when COVID struck, we were like takeout only, so things were like crazy difficult. So we opened an hour later and closed an hour earlier, and then we closed a day. So basically, our work week starts Wednesday to Sunday. And Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays we were closed for like 25 years, and then we closed Tuesdays because these folks needed to lessen the contact and also lessen the bills, because I mean groceries we didn't really know what we were going to do, man. We were making peanuts for money. I thought I was going to lose my business. I had no idea if we were going to make it or not. I totally messed up the first round of PP bullshit money.
Yeah, PP.
That's all that, you know, a lot of people around me, a lot of the business owners and guys I know, they were raking it in. I'm like, how are you doing this? What am I doing wrong? You know, how are you getting this? So it was based off of like, I think it was like I was using the previous tax year on my application, but I guess you needed to use your current information. Yeah. Let me be very clear. Anybody that attempted that first round of PPP money, you were kind of just like, either you knew what you were doing or you didn't, because the application was like barely a paragraph. It was like, for those that knew what they were doing, it was the easiest way to scrape some cash, and a lot of it. If you were like me and you were just like, I don't know, on your last cassette tape of Hooked on Phonics, you messed it all up. So I just figured, you know what? I don't know, man. I ended up getting some help, but it wasn't like extravagant. And I'm kind of happy that I didn't, because a lot of the money that I managed to scrape up was basically like private grants for small business through some of the companies, and like Chase Bank was amazing. And I opened up a business account with Chase like 6 months prior, and they came through like we had been done business for 20 years. So hats off to Chase. They were awesome. And the NFIB, which is a small business, I don't even know what they do. I just made a $150 contribution to them every year for like 16 years. Yeah. And they came through with some awesome grant money, and it was just awesome. So, nice. You know, I just didn't have anything. I didn't have any ties to any of that other stuff. Yeah. That may or may not come back to haunt people. You know what I mean? I don't even know if anybody really knows what the hell they got themselves into. Right. But I'm happy that I did what I did. But yeah.
What's the name of your restaurant, man? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but
No, it's called the Brookfield Diner. It's here in Ohio. It's about 25 minutes from where I live, a little north of where I live. So it's kind of nice because I kind of get away and go away, and if everything's yes, I get my discretion and my privacy away from home. I don't want people coming to my house, badgering me, bothering me. You'd be surprised some of the crazy things that happen. So I'm kind of grateful. I'm kind of grateful that I'm distancing myself. You know what I mean? Plus, it's a very small town. It's a very small town. So we're very blessed because we do a great job here. The folks in the town are phenomenal people. I just need to be away from the area. I've spent my entire life here. My family, we're just 20 minutes away, and it's better that way. You know what I mean? The location's phenomenal. I'm on the corner of an interstate that goes 4 different directions. You can go to Pittsburgh this way. You can head into New York that way. You go to Cleveland this direction. We're very lucky to be where we are, but I mean, it's a small traditional diner. You know what I mean? It's not anything we're not gonna serve you a six-course meal, but it is, all home cooked. My old man, God rest his soul, built this business 30 years ago, and we're just carrying on. Man. You know what I mean? Just carrying on the tradition. And we're Greek, so we don't do a whole lot of Greek food because a lot of these folks are probably gonna look at me like, what is this? Right. But we do the gyros, and they don't have a problem eating those, so we hit it good there.
Right. Very good, man.
Awesome, man. That's awesome, dude.
This Hall of Fame game, we were talking before you got on here. Do you think the Jets and or the Browns make the playoffs this year?
I do think the Jets will make the playoffs. I don't think the Browns will make the playoffs. I don't think that Deshaun Watson is who a lot of people think he is. And I really can't say that for certain. I only have one person that really can tell me with his magic ball that Deshaun Watson is who he was. Nick is in a different dimension. So I let him talk just so he feels, involved, but I really don't take any of it for what it is, because I got to see it. In his own
words, he's a slow learner. So,
Yeah, self-admitted slow learner, right? It'll take some time.
Man, I love him like a brother, but Jesus, one of
the greatest stories ever.
We didn't even put that out there. He put it out there. It just blows my mind. I just couldn't believe it. He's more visual, whatever the hell that means. I will say that Nick learned. He's an ER room nurse. Okay. In different trauma centers, like trauma grade. I don't know what they are. 3s, 2s, 4s. Well, I don't know what they mean, but he's been in all of them. Nick never took a book home to study. He did everything visually. The dude just absorbs what you say. He can't write. The dude's handwriting is just awful. So it wouldn't matter what it was. He can't even read his own writing. So he just sat in and listened and absorbed, and he tests very well that way. It's kind of crazy. I would need a tutor and a laptop and an iPad and paper. I would be awful. I was a terrible student. I did everything I needed to do to get by, but I didn't put forth the effort. And I had a blast in high school. I played sports, wrestled. I tried to do that early on in my youth. That was just awful. I was terrible at it. Soccer was my thing, and basketball. We had an oriented group through our youth group, and we traveled all around to different gyms and played in tournaments, and that was a lot of fun. But school, I had a blast just being with my friends. You know what I mean? And college was just not my thing. I ended up knowing that I was going to do this. My old man was always struggling to get help. It was hard to get people to do the job. So I was here, spent my entire youth here, my teenage years. And I was always here. So worked by his side from my entire high school career. And then I lost him in 2007. in a tragic car accident. So we just carried on the business. My brother left college. He wasn't really cut out for this, but I mean, he's been by my side ever since. So we've just done it together. But I mean, I wouldn't even say I don't regret any of it. There's times I regret my decision, but I don't regret it to the point where, like, I think I regret it in those moments that are strenuous and stressful.
Yeah.
You know, but when it's good, it's good. And it's been more good than it's been bad. So, you know, and it's provided for my family and myself growing up. So I owe it all to this community. Otherwise I wouldn't have what I have.
Right.
Dude, that's such an inspiring story. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all, I mean, I don't really know. The way I found out in the middle of I lost my pops overnight. He had gone to a food expo with my uncle, they're brothers, and they had restaurants. My uncle had a restaurant in Pennsylvania. My dad had a restaurant right over here. We're only about like a 20-minute drive apart. And, you know, they went to a food expo and then they went out to, it's called Seneca Casino and Racetrack. It's like, you know, it's a casino and racetrack. So that was their getaway. Like they worked their asses off, but that was their way of, that was their release. Right. So, they just never made it home. Never made it home. Just lost them overnight. Lost my dad and my uncle in the same wreck. And it sucks, but I mean, it's life, and I'm not the only one that lost anyone to a tragedy, and I won't be the last. And you know, I sympathize with anybody and everybody that's ever been there. It's rough, but you don't really know what you've absorbed till the rubber hits the road and you have no choice. Because I mean, as a young man, my dad's like, "Are you paying attention?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm hungover. I don't know what the hell's happening. What did you put in that soup? I have no idea."
No, I'm not.
You know, and then when I woke up one day and was like, my mom was like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "There are folks there that rely on this business to make a living."
Oh, my luck, John.
There he goes.
Sorry, I had a phone call. But my mom was like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "Well, there are folks out here that support a family. We've got to be here for them. And what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's it." So, yeah. But no, man. Honest to God, to answer your question, Scott, I do believe that the Jets make it, but I would never put it on the Browns. The Browns got to show me a coach change. Stefanski ain't it, dude. He's not that guy. Stefanski is not as creative as maybe he thinks he is, but you know, I do like Schwartz, their defensive coordinator, and they do have a solid defense on paper. If they can put that together, and the defense will definitely carry this team if they can establish any form of offense. Because I just don't believe in Watson. I'm sorry. I just think that I think that all the time away, you're rusty and you're just, I don't know, man. It's tough because I don't think that he's coming into a team, with a clear head. You're always going to have all that nonsense lingering over your head. It's always going to be a distraction. It may not be in the forefront, but it'll always be somewhere near and around you. It will always, I think that stains your career. It just, how can't it, right? So I think that he's just I think he's a figure of the past. I don't really know, man. I guess we'll find out. I could be completely wrong. And I'll own it.
He's never been the same after that Chiefs divisional round game. Let's be honest.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, he was dog water in the games that he played at the end of last season. He was awful. He was just awful.
He had one game where he looked okay, but we'll see. But I don't know. I'm not anticipating a whole lot out of him. So looks like we finally had a touchdown in this game. The Jets scored a touchdown. So
there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on that Browns team. That's the only downside. There is talent there, guys. Yeah. Like their offensive line is pretty decent. And I mean, it's probably better than what the Niners have put out there the last couple of years. But I don't know, man. And the defense is solid. They do have some pieces to to complement Garrett. So I don't know. We'll just have to see, man. We'll have to see.
We were just talking about the quarterbacks and these high-end prospects that don't go anywhere. And I was just sitting there wondering if there's coaches like Shanahan, Reed, right? I mean, these upper tier coaches that just sit there and look at the waste of this talent, and they just know that like some of these coaches have ruined these guys. I wonder if that just makes them sick to think about like the talent that just gets kind of thrown down the toilet, because I mean, like the Browns, you can't tell me that they haven't had good players. I mean, they had high draft picks for the last 20 years,
Yeah,
and
but they moved a lot of them too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would still say that it's gotta. Are you saying what does it do to the players, or what does it do to the coaches that
I just wonder, like,
these players?
If you're like an Andy Reid looking at like another team where you're like, maybe there's like a guy that could have been great, and he turns into like a nobody because he's had shitty coaching. What that feels like. They're like, dude, if I had that guy, I could have turned him into the next whoever, right? I think
Rosen is a good example of that, Nick. Josh, is his name Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen.
I think that he had his career fumbled, and I think they mishandled that kid right out of the gate, and they ruined it for him. Yeah. Which is what I'm afraid for Trey Lance, if we're going to be honest. And I don't want to involve my Niners in much of this, but I do fear that we have, I think honestly, it was a mistake to draft Trey Lance when you were already good and you had 2 expensive years left on Jimmy G's contract. You owed him over $20 million in those 2 following years. What were you planning on doing with Trey? I mean, you said he was raw and you wanted him to develop. How well did you develop him? Because you're saying that now it's year 3 and you're still talking about a mechanics issue and you weren't capable of correcting it. So he had to go out on his own and seek out Jeff Christensen, who is a godsend, right? And in the last 4 months, Trey Lance's mechanics, feet and eyes, everything is remarkably different. And the kid is throwing a beautiful spiral, guys. A beautiful spiral. He was throwing a wobbly ball and it was kind of making me nervous and I wasn't crazy about it. Then I found out that he had broken his pointer finger, or the finger that I don't know how you throw, but it had like that lump in it, and he wasn't really gripping the football properly. And it happened in a preseason game in 2021 versus Green Bay, I believe. And ever since then, Trey was using that middle finger to compensate for the broken finger that had healed all jacked up. Right. And finally, he was just like, look, Kyle, I got to get this finger operated on, dude. Like, I might as well do it. Like, I got to do it. Jim's here. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to do it. So he got that finger repaired, guys. And Christensen.
John must have got another phone call.
Sorry.
The thing that's rough
for trying to get hold of you, bro.
Dude, like when you got a guy like Trey Lance that's raw or a project or whatever you want to say about the guy, like the last thing you want is injuries, because that just hinders the development. He's a guy that needed more development and more reps and more.
Right.
So when you start getting injured and you're not playing,
that's a great point.
That's the worst thing that can happen to a guy that's a project or whatever you want to call him. And I just and I've seen you guys talk about it on your locker room rant, and I've seen people talk about it online and on, Faithful Nation or whatever. Like, here's the deal. Brock Purdy, he played decent and they won games, but they were in a weaker NFC and they didn't ask the guy to do a lot. To me, he's the last pick in his draft. You got rid of Jimmy G. You can't give up what the 49ers gave up to go up and get Trey Lance 3rd overall and then just never give him a solid chance at the job. It to me is like, I put it in I was talking in the comments, and people are probably tired of hearing me say this, but like they kind of went all in on Trey Lance. You don't go all in And then when you see the other guy flip over a king, be like, oh, I fold. Like, you're all in, man. Like, you don't fold at that point. Use a poker analogy. You got to go in and see what you got with the dude.
No, that's a fact.
And if
that's
Brock
probably
Purdy,
the biggest fear I have, Scott, was
right,
that
and
they.
if Brock Purdy is better than Trey Lance, there is some people in that organization need to lose their job, because you can't trade what you traded to go up and get Lance where you got him, and then get a guy better than him with the last pick of the draft. That's awful scouting and personnel.
Scott, they're enamored by a kid that is executing the playbook, the dink and dunk style offense that Shanahan is predicated on. Right. It's just the kid's doing it. But I mean, is that the bar? Like, what? Trey Lance doesn't have to come out here and do anything extraordinary. He just has to do exactly what Purdy did and just make those shorter intermediate throws. And I from what I understand, Trey's struggle was rolling out and making the throw on the move. But it wasn't both directions. It was only one. And it was probably the more uncomfortable direction. You know what I'm saying? It's like moving right to throw right is harder than rolling out left and throwing with your right hand. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Moving to your right and throwing to your right. Unfortunately, you've got to roll out both directions, bro. It just depends. Like, you've got Trent Williams there. Take advantage. Take advantage.
Yeah.
But,
well,
I mean,
I'm sorry, but you're telling me that they can design like an entire offensive scheme around Lamar Jackson, but they can't figure out how to not make that dude roll out on the side that he's not comfortable rolling out?
Oh, you know man. I mean, Nick, that's a phenomenal point. I mean, naturally, you know, we're thinking that. You know, I mean, you know, we're wondering, why is everybody else tailor-made and we're just not? Here's the problem, brother. When we went through all those quarterbacks last season and made it to the NFC Championship, Shanahan had schemed up a different game plan for each quarterback, including Josh Johnson.
Right.
It was...
Dude, he had to have a game plan for Josh Johnson. That's what's unreal about that situation.
Right. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, you even had CMC with the Wildcat. You had a package for CMC.
Him throwing the ball. That's fucking.
And CMC did an interview. He's like, I don't even know what you guys want me to do. I mean, like, do you understand? This isn't me. Like, just because you can find 10 guys back there that can throw the football far. I mean, I'm just not a quarterback. Like, I don't even know the first thing. I don't have the timing. I don't know how to throw the ball the right way with the right velocity. You got to get like 50 on it. You know what I mean? Like, minimum. The velocity that Trey Lance was throwing when he came into the league, he was throwing missiles. They were like, whoa, young man, ease it up. You're hurting people out here, you know? So Trey had to learn how to throw with touch and finesse. And I'm like, why the hell did you draft him if the kid was so raw, you didn't even know how to play the damn position?
I mean, what's wrong with throwing missiles? Fucking Brett Favre and them guys made a career out of throwing missiles. If that's how he's comfortable throwing the ball, fucking let him do it. You see, like, these teams, too, and I think you're seeing this now with, like, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, guys that can run and scramble and throw the ball. How many times did you see a team draft a guy who had that style of play and like, oh, we're going to teach him how to be a pro quarterback and stand in the pocket?
Dude, even when Mahomes was drafted, he was critiqued about, like, his mechanics. He was critiqued about his mechanics not being sound and his fundamentals not being there, and he tries to improvise too many plays. And that ends up being the greatest attribute to arguably one of the greatest players to grace the game.
Yeah. Dude, are you guys familiar with layered passes?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay. So that is these quarterbacks right now in camp, this commercialized score kept quarterback competition, which, mind you, which bothers me to death. Trey Lance still is not competing for the quarterback one position. That position is not for competition. It's literally the quarterback two position that he's competing against Sam Darnold for, and then Brandon Allen's just there throwing peanuts at their asses because they really don't understand what he's there for. So they're trying to they're grading these guys on layered passes, and these layered passes, I could be wrong, but it's you're throwing a pass that's got the velocity and it's got the height and the speed, but it's dropping just over the linebackers into that middle third part of the field. You understand what I'm saying? Like just between the 50 and the safeties, so to speak. Like you're trying to layer these passes into quadrants of the field that are it almost sounds like the expectation is too much. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like Patrick Mahomes is going out there and he's throwing the ball. He's just throwing the ball.
Throw it to
the dude is throwing the ball. Like there's no science, there's no technology attached to the ball. He's just throwing the damn ball. And the ball, like the way these guys are throwing the ball, they have this beautiful spiral and it drops almost like a teardrop. Like it drops like Patrick Mahomes is throwing the football. I don't even pay attention to the how it falls out of the sky. I just know that it's moving and somebody's catching it, bro. Like there's no, don't get cute with it because I don't understand that part of the game. And you're essentially holding players back. Like that's why I'm so curious to see who Jimmy G is for Vegas.
Oh man.
I'm so excited to see who Jimmy G is out of this system, out of these expectations and this obsessed OCD of timing and placement.
Right.
That timing and placement.
Jimmy G, he's on the Raiders, so although he's got Devontae Adams now. I mean,
yeah, but it just makes me wonder, Scott. Like Jimmy was known for a very quick release because he was obviously learning behind Tom Brady, right? So that release is one of the quickest in the league, right?
Yep.
And if you harness that properly and if you believe that your quarterback is limited, which obviously Patrick is not limited on the deep ball. Like Patrick's not limited. He's not limited at any of the throws on the football field. And a lot of them are just magical. So it's like there's no predetermined expectation. Patrick's going to go out there, find somebody open, get open, and I will get you the ball, or I'll make it I'll get us there. I'll get us the first, and we'll pull it together, and we'll make first down and short, and we'll score. And he does it. Patrick is not limited, but Shanahan is like Bill Walsh, or he thinks he's Bill Walsh. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe the logo. Maybe he's just reading too many books, but Walsh was very, very calculated. Timing, placement,
and when you got Jerry
repetition.
Rice and Joe Montana, you can do that shit.
You can.
You know what I'm saying?
You can, right. I mean, essentially, you can. But it's just, to me, it's just like, I watch Kansas City. I watch how you guys play the game, and it's so much more. I don't want to say it's loose.
Right.
It's loose. You guys are playing the game. Basically, bro, get open. Get open and I'll get you the ball.
Right.
And Andy Reid is just known for that air raid offense to where he draws up routes that are just awesome. You know?
Well, he does
at
for
Wasp.
Patrick Mahomes, but he didn't do that for Alex Smith. And that's kind of what my point is. And it's almost like you'd think that he's trying to set Trey up to fail if that's the case, you know? I mean, like,
man, it's crossed my mind a couple of times, Nick.
Like, you don't want this guy to succeed? I just,
why would
it's
you do
weird.
that, though? 'Cause, I mean, I don't know. Like,
It's almost because it's like this, Scott. You got Jed York, who is just not good at what he's doing. You know, you gave Shanahan the keys to the castle, and he has a lot of freedom. And I honestly do believe that if Trey Lance gets moved and he succeeds elsewhere, they're not going to fire Shanahan. They're just not. We were dog shit before he got here. I mean, we were awful. The days were dark. It was evil. I was watching some awful football. I had Chip Kelly running around trying to make guys do that collegiate hurry up, get to the line of scrimmage between these guys were like they were about to die. These guys are like 400 pounds, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was
out in the league.
oh my god, it was so bad.
Right.
And then we just promoted a guy that was a linebackers coach to be the head coach and was like, look, man, just do what you can. You essentially picked a lineman coach over what's his name? My Fangio and this other guy. How are you not giving Fangio an opportunity?
Right.
How? Why? Guy invented defense, for God's sake. Why?
Yeah, he didn't do much for the Broncos though. So, but he didn't. Really
He was terrible there, man. He was terrible there. Denver is a
That's
shit place.
That's the key, man. If you have a quarterback, you're just
screwed,
No,
man.
yeah. Yo, let me ask you guys about the DB that got hurt. Is he anybody that you guys are worried about? I heard that he was carded, or maybe he wasn't carded. I don't remember, but a DB got hurt.
It's an ACL, right?
Johnson, Najee Johnson,
yeah.
I think, or Najee or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a guy that was looking good in camp, but really, I mean, their starting corners are McDuffie and Snead. They've got Jalen Watson, who came on. They really liked him last year as a rookie. Started playing really well towards the end of the year. So no, he wasn't like a top performer. He wasn't like losing like a Snead or a McDuffie, but you hate to lose depth at that position, especially for a guy that was looking good in training camp.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff liked. So,
tough break for that dude, you know?
I hate it. Tim Patrick, he ruptured his Achilles. That dude is getting an awful dose of the injury bug. Two in a row.
2 training camps in a row, season-ending injuries. That's man, you just.
Dude, Nick, you were talking earlier about, like, you see, it's unfortunate to see players get passed up on talent or get miscoached and stuff. For me, it's heartbreaking to see a player just miss an entire season because they get injured in training camp or in a practice early on, right? Just get rolled up on an ankle or something and they're just done. That's the heartbreaking thing to me. Like, I couldn't imagine how much work these guys put in to achieve their dreams, essentially, and then just have it all taken away by a fluke injury. So that's the hard part.
And how hard they had to work to get back from that. So they worked their entire lives to get here, and then they get hurt, and then they work just as hard in a condensed amount of time to get back so that they can reclaim their opportunity without getting passed up. And then boom. It's like, dude, it's hard to believe, but it's like Nick's like, it's over. I like to believe that there's a chance. Jason Verrett had multiple injuries like that. He was once an all-pro, and then the injuries started stacking up against him, and there was nothing he could do. It was just too much.
Well, look at a guy on the Chiefs like Kadarius Toney, injured with the Giants, limited time. He comes here, looks good, plays in the Super Bowl, catches a touchdown, has a record punt return for touchdown in the Super Bowl. He didn't make it to the first practice in training camp, and now he's got a knee issue, and he had surgery to clean up some cartilage. And they don't even. I have not heard. I've heard reports he could be back week 1. I've heard it could be like week 6, week 4.
Yeah, I've heard it could be like October.
Yeah, like how many guys out there like supremely, infinitely talented, and just can't not get hurt, man.
Just makes you wonder about dudes like Travis Kelce that just week in, week out are just playing. And I mean, Travis Kelce said on his podcast that he's had 10 surgeries.
Right.
And it's just like, and he's missed no time. So, I mean, is it just like you just wonder, is it like a pain tolerance thing where they're just,
that's like the whole hurt or
injury. That's a big part of it, dude.
Yeah.
That's that quarterback show. All those quarterbacks were playing hurt, right?
You can play hurt, you can't play injured. That's the saying you hear a lot from coaches and players. And I mean, I never played professional sports, but I played soccer growing up all through high school and as a young guy and played up till my senior year. Like, I remember seeing guys missing games because they pulled a hamstring or they twisted an ankle or did this or that. Like, I never missed a game because I don't think I ever pulled a hamstring in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is the luck of the draw? Is it your body or is it a combination of the two? I mean, like I
It's a
said,
little bit of everything, I think.
I
man.
remember seeing players, and I want to say like when I got into high school, I did have kind of a weird knee injury, but I didn't miss long. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man, I had a lot done like that, man. I banged my knees up. I hyperextended a knee, my shoulder. There were a number of things that I did, but I mean, a lot of it is attributed to how do you care for your body? Like, like how do you stretch? Stretching is a miraculous thing. If you stretch the right way, properly, your body will respond. If you just half-ass your stretching and your conditioning, then don't be surprised when soft tissue injuries happen.
stay hydrated, drinking enough water so your muscles.
I mean,
are
there's
hydrated.
so much. These teams offer you all the tools. There are trainers. You have everything at your disposal, and you just I don't know, man. It's different. It's different. I don't know. I really don't even know, man. I thought that they said that the what's up, Big Doug? Good to see you, man. It's I thought that they said that the NFLPA or whatever it is, they were actually hurting players because they don't want them to work as soon or as early, or I forget what I heard, but it was something like it's almost like it's working against them more than it's helping them because there's all these
limited practices, right? It's like not the 2-a-days, it's the shorter practices, and they're saying that's leading to injuries. And if you watch that quarterback series, I mean, Mahomes, he works like twice, right? He does like his own workout, he does workouts and the practices, and then he goes and he works with Bobby Stroop, who works specifically on trying to keep him from getting injured, and the dude still rolls his ankle in the playoffs,
I think it's luck of the draw at that point, right? Like some of these really great players get injured. Like think about like Adrian Peterson and stuff, right? Talented, makes it all the way to the NFL, has a great career, that gets injured and kind of like hampers the end of his career. But like, I mean,
return right there.
Yeah, there's a difference.
I feel like it's just
between like these like tissue injuries and like you get a helmet to the knee. It don't matter how like good a body you got or how well you take care of your body. You're just going to be done at that point.
And some guys just seem to be better at eluding those hard hits too.
Yes,
they just seem to be able to. Go ahead. Yeah,
we've talked about it loads, man. We've highlighted plays where guys get their legs caught under somebody, and we're like, you, me, or Scott, we're in that same play. Our legs shattered into 1,000 pieces. Somehow, this guy gets up and just walks it off. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal. These guys' pain tolerance. I think playing with pain is a huge part of it.
You also wonder if anybody's actually out to actually create that injury. You know what I mean? Almost like, what do they call that?
Being a dick.
What do they call that? Are they call that what do they
being a dick?
Yeah, being a dick.
I mean that Mahomes injury in the playoffs, dude, like you can see if you watch that replay in slow motion, he looks down at his leg and then he literally drops all of his weight onto Patrick Mahomes' leg.
Yes.
Maybe he didn't mean to do that, but it sure looks like he was trying to trying to hurt him there.
You mean to do that. You're doing it. You are trying to take him out of the game. I know you are. Yeah. I mean, we watched
about it. We talked about it the day after it happened. We had a podcast about it, right? And I kind of took the contrary and I said, like, no, like, I don't know. It kind of looked like he tackled it. Now that you watch it a couple of times, you see, like Nick said, you see him look down, you see him do that. And I think it was Doug in one of these chats on one of our podcasts said, these guys are professional athletes. They know what they're doing with every part of their body, right? And you're just like, I gotta tend to agree with that perspective a lot. Like these guys know what they're doing with their body. They know how to tackle. They spend hours, thousands of hours practicing tackling. They know that like grabbing and falling is not the norm.
Yeah.
All right. Wonder if John V lost signal or his phone died or something. It looks like we lost John.
He's there. No, he's back in. Here we go.
Oh, he's back in. Oh, all right.
There he is, buddy. What's up, dude?
No, I hit a button and it just was gone.
We got to have the star of the show on here. So.
Yeah, man.
What's the score right now?
13-7.
7.
Oh yeah, I got it. I see it now.
You guys can see it down at the bottom, right? If you're the four, or I don't know if Scott can because he's on his phone, or you guys. Nick, can you see my screen? I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
Big Doug. I saw that play. I watched it over and over again myself. It was a very similar cheap shot to what happened to Jimmy G. He was carrying 2 defenders, and then the next thing you know, all of a sudden, one conveniently just decides to drop his knee right on the top of his foot, and you just can tell it's intentional. Like you can see the intentional injury happen. It's almost like, well, there's Patrick's foot. There's his leg.
It was
it's just
such
like
an out of the ordinary tackle for a not an out of the ordinary play, which Mahomes is, he does that often. He makes these plays look crazy easy and they're out of the ordinary. But that play specifically wasn't anything. He got caught up in the pocket. It wasn't anything too crazy. And that tackle just looks so weird. It just it fails the eye test.
Right.
Yeah,
it does.
Everybody I saw that I saw, even a bunch of Chiefs fans I know were like, "Oh, dude, you're just being sour grapes. That's not. He didn't mean to do that, and he's going down." I'm like, I don't know, man. It looked intentional to me. So you'll never be able to prove it, and he'll never admit it. But
I mean,
at the half.
16-7, 10 penalties in that first half. So the refs are already in mid-season form there.
Getting that arm worked out.
They're getting their reps in, man. They're ready.
Flags out
It's
there.
just like, if Stefanski was a good coach, I feel like you could just you could get a field goal. You should be able to get they have running backs. They've got good running backs in Cleveland. I just think that he's just a very bland coach. I just don't think that he's got the creativity that it requires. I really believe that you got to be creative. You have so many opportunities. You got to take advantage, right? Andy Reid does it. You guys compete in the preseason. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just harder. It's a lot harder than I make it. I understand that. I totally get it. But I just feel like, where's your creativity? Like, you lack the creativity. Like, Pittsburgh lacked creativity for many years. It was a very old school offense. It didn't have a lot of it just was not creative. I really can't even pick a word.
So,
I feel like they're a juggernaut in the run game. They've always been known to have a good run game, I thought, right?
No, that's their problem.
That's a staple of a good NFL team.
That's their problem. They focus on running the ball.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You knew that was coming.
That's right. You're opposed. You're opposed. Running backs are important, Scott. They really matter.
They're not that important, man.
I mean, you can argue that the compensation, but just draw a fine line between the compensation and needing a running back, because you're always going to need one. I always believe that. I always do. Cannot be one dimensional. And even if you are, it's not going to lead to long-term success. And you're going to end up throwing your quarterback's arm out. It's just cause and effect, brother. I mean, you need to take.
Look at the Chiefs. They got They had Damian Williams when they won that Super Bowl against the Super Bowl 54 in Miami.
Also had Darrell.
He leaves. They draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's not that great of a running back. They still go to the Super Bowl. Then the year after that, they go get old tired legs from you, who's a journeyman guy on 1 year-to-year deals, average running back. They win another Super Bowl with him in a 7th round running back, Isaiah Pacheco. To me,
I love Pacheco. Jesus, guys.
I feel like people are misunderstanding when I say, I just don't think running the ball or having one of these top-notch running backs and focusing your offense around running the ball is the way to do it. You can get guys for cheaper in later rounds in the draft. You can win Super Bowls. The key is the quarterback position in the passing game and getting chunk plays and putting defenses on their heels. To me, if you're making Saquon Barkley the focus of your offense and running the ball and paying him a bunch of money, you're just going to be one of these teams that's going to maybe make the playoffs here and there, but you're not going to be one of these top tier teams. I mean,
but the Giants forfeited being a top tier team when they gave Daniel Jones $40 million a year.
He really did, dude.
Like,
I'm not knowing where to put your money, right?
But it's the market, dude. Somebody sets the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really have a hard. I mean, if you're not going to pay Daniel Jones, and it's I don't want to take much away from the guy, but Scott, it's guys like Saquon protect the football. They're very versatile in the run game. They're very versatile in the passing game, right? You still got another guy to account for,
right,
and you want to use that guy to create misdirection or just to create confusion, just as simple as just confusing people, moving them around and making the defense try to read, like, what the hell are they doing over there? Why is he lining up? Why is he there?
Right.
Is he a tight end today? What the hell's happening right now? Why is Trent Williams wide receiver slot? What is happening? You know what I mean? Like, you just, it's a matter. I think that running back, Scott, we can argue the compensation, because I do believe they should be compensated. But I do understand that their shelf life is short. It can be short. And you don't have just one, right? You've got four typically. And if you draft right and develop properly, you can use all four. San Francisco does not have RB1. It's just whoever's got the hot hand continues. CMC was just so versatile, you just couldn't stop him. There was no reason to take him to minimize his carries or his usage. Just take advantage of this.
He's hurt a lot. Saquon Barkley's had one season last year where he wasn't injured.
Yes.
You're gambling. If you're going to give a running back $15, $18, $19 million a year, that's just a misallocation of funds as far as I'm concerned. Because you can get guys.
But Scott, you can be creative in how you get them in open space, and you can reduce that contact by just getting them open in space. And that's a lot of what our offense is predicated on, is running the ball. It opens up the passing game, and then, but somebody's always open. And if you can just get CMC, even I guess
what's CMC's deal worth?
I'm cutting in real quick here. They're talking Chiefs Lions kickoff season opener game right now in the halftime show on NBC. So if you're not watching the game, maybe turn it on right now. They're talking about Lions Chiefs. That Thursday night game.
Yeah, you decided if you're going to that game yet or not?
I don't know. But
that's awesome.
Bo's trying to get our channel blocked here by
we don't make any money off of this. It's not what we're gonna do, get demonetized. Oh no.
We're
gonna make $0 more dollars.
We've got more strikes than Nolan Ryan. I've told you that before.
I think you can only get a strike once you've been monetized. So.
Right. John, I'm sorry, I cut you off there. Do you ever look at any of these analytics? Do you look at EPA, expected points added?
No, I don't.
If you look at that, like the disparity between running backs and like wide receivers, or a guy like George Kittle or Travis Kelce, dude, like the efficiency of these other positions over the running back. I mean, you look at a guy like Saquon in his top year, he had 1,300 or 1,400 yards. It's on like 300 touches, and their EPA is minuscule compared to a guy like Tyreek Hill that has 101 catches, maybe 140 targets, half the targets, less than that when it comes to touches, and they get the same amount of yards. They score almost as many touchdowns. So I just,
what did the 49ers pay CMC? What are they paying him annually?
I mean, I think I can't even remember right now. That was a celebration for me. I don't even remember, but I know that we either we took over whatever Carolina had left, and we probably restructured him, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, Bo. You'd have to look it up.
Million. I just Googled it. I think it's saying 8.8 or 11.8 on the salary cap. It counted as 12.
So let me ask Scott, what was Joe Tooney's EPA last year?
I don't know. I haven't looked at his lineman. I mean, he doesn't really touch the ball. But
I mean, I'm just but yeah, that's my point, right? Like he didn't
well,
score
he's
any
not a skill
points.
position player. So,
but my point is that there's other aspects to the game that are important other than just how many points you score.
right,
And
but
having a
that's
good
not-
running back that can shorten the game and keep the clock running is
Yeah,
super
but I mean, how
important.
many
And
years
you're
have
talking
you
about
heard-
a guy that has 300 touches. They're touching the ball 2 to 3 times as much as everybody else.
I know.
I mean,
like,
whether or not they're getting as many yards, they're still like.
man,
I mean,
it's
you're
efficiency.
looking at the total. But you're looking at the total amount
You're
of work
having
that a
to
guy
give
has
a
to
guy
give.
3 times as many touches to get the same production.
Understood, but he's still
And you talk
doing
about
it
shortening the game. How many times have we heard people say the last 5 years, "Oh, the
I
way
mean,
you beat Patrick Mahomes is run the ball and shorten the game and limit his possessions"? No, that's not. When he
Well, if
loses
you-
games, it's because the Rams scored 50 points, or the Raiders came in here and lit the Chiefs' defense up for 45 points, throwing the ball down the field. Like that's not.
There's more to the game than that. Is my point. If you were going to pay people just based on like how many
There's
points
more
they
to the
score per
game.
play or how many points they scored, then why aren't kickers making the most? They score the most points.
There's more to the game than that because they don't put themselves in position to score. Like, I mean, all they do is come in and kick the ball, and they get a lot of cheapies on extra points too, like on the points they score. Yeah, look, I'm not saying like
I'm just saying that some of these positions they've leveraged themselves like to the point where now they're like hurting the other positions because there's only so much money. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I just don't think it's I don't think it's proportional is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that well like they're worth, as much as Tyreek Hill, but is Tyreek Hill worth 30 million a year? Like if you
Right.
can only pay your running back 10, that's all.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
I
and
just
on
think
top of
that
all
there's
that-
guys that are like pushing their market forward, but it really just like it's
Running
supposed to be
backs
a
are-
team sport, right?
right. Well, I mean, it's an ultimate team sport where the only guy that really matters on the team is the quarterback, right? Because if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your team is. So,
Yeah.
Well, to that statement, I would just think about like the
Yeah,
way
but
the
those are
Chiefs-
like-
the way the Chiefs play the Titans when Derrick Henry's on the field. Like, dude,
You got to
when
stack it, dude. You got to stack the box.
It's weird. He can have 90 yards on us and completely affect the game. Like, not even have a touchdown, only have 90 yards, and affect 3/4 of that game completely.
Yes.
Just his presence.
And then there's other teams, Bo, that they play honest. They don't stack the box. They just stick to their defense, their game plan, and somehow they maintain and can contain him, right? It's just like some teams just match up better, and it's not taking anything away from your particular playmakers, but some guys are just better at taking them down. I don't know. I mean, it's the blitzes. I don't know how much Kansas City blitzes because I don't pay attention. Do you
They-
blitz a lot,
they do.
or do you keep everything in front of them?
No, Spags is pretty.
Yeah, it's like
pretty wild,
50s.
He's
as far
pretty
as
aggressive,
starting
yeah.
with
40-50%,
blitzes,
yeah.
and They definitely like to blitz and bring the heat. Leave guys one-on-one with Jamar Chase with the game on the line. When the only thing you can't do is give up a first down on 3rd and 19, and you win the
Third
game.
and 27 or whatever.
Guy one-on-one on the
You're
outside.
telling me? Wait, hold on a minute. You telling me about 3rd and long?
Right.
Come on, bro. 3rd and long. Like 2019 is. You really take it, Scott.
John's like,
sometimes you
dude,
take
shut up.
shots.
That's your 3rd and long, all right?
Those 3rd and long opportunities, like,
And the other
That-
thing too, to me, with running backs is they're easily replaceable. That's the other thing. You don't have to pay a running back because
Scott, I don't think
Cowboys,
so,
man,
though.
Zeke and then Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard would come in and look just as good as Zeke.
But Tony Pollard is better than Zeke. There's that reality.
Zeke was like one of the best running backs in the NFL for the first few years.
Was, and how much of that was Dak helping him out, right? Like,
I mean, I don't think a lot of it was Dak. I
think a lot of it was Dak. They were both really good their rookie year. Didn't they have to split rookie of the year?
Yeah, I just let other teams overpay running backs.
I feel like you got to find the right guy that hits those gaps, right? And not only do they have to be system oriented, but they've got to be acclimated. They got to be able to catch the ball in open space, because look at McKinnon, bro. That's why we were interested in McKinnon. His versatility. The only problem is the guy had tired legs and he couldn't play. And we paid a bunch of money to him. And then we had to restructure him. And then he still couldn't get on the field. He said his legs were weak. They were tired. I don't even know what the hell that means, guys, but apparently you can have tired legs and it can last a long time.
Baseball, right? A dead arm, the pitcher says, I got a dead arm. You just don't have the energy in them. So, yeah, but like, that also like helps make my point for me too. Like, why would you pay a top-notch running back when you can go out and find a guy like Jarrett McKinnon on one-year deals and get the production out of him? It's just
Well, to be fair, I mean, we basically made it easy for everybody else by paying this guy, restructuring this guy. The guy couldn't get on the field for us. We couldn't rehabilitate this guy to get on the field for us. We couldn't offer him anything that he couldn't offer us. And then he comes to Kansas City, and San Francisco fans are just sitting there like, come on, bro.
I don't think that's...
Why couldn't you do that?
Scott, I think we're asking two different questions. Like, because do you think that for his contribution to what he did for the team, that Jerick McKinnon was paid proportional to his value last season? That's
paid $1.6 million, right?
Yeah, no way. He was worth more.
Of course, you can find these guys that are making no money, because the argument is nobody's paying them any money. You know what I mean? Like,
because you can find them and they're easily replaceable. That's the most injured position in football. And again, the running game is just not that important to like really, really good football teams. Teams that are really, really good in the top they have top quarterbacks, top wide receivers. They have a guy like George Kittle or Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews, and
I'm buying you a Pacheco jersey this year.
Look, I'm not arguing the Chiefs should pay a running back.
I'm aware of Isaiah
I'm
Pacheco.
throwing in on it.
I don't like Isaiah Pacheco. What I'm saying is Isaiah Pacheco is not nearly as important to the team as Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill or Patrick Mahomes or Chris Jones.
I think you need to go back and rewatch that Super Bowl, my man. He secured a lot of first downs for us.
Harder to replace, and I mean,
Pacheco secured so many first downs and extended drives for us. When
he was a staple on that 98 Chad Henne drive.
Yes, guys. I was screaming for this kid's coming out party because I knew he was going to be awesome. I drafted him in my fantasy league. He was awesome for me at times. I mean, there were down times, but my point is, Scott.
Hold on, I'll be back.
You know what I wanted to say to Scott was, when you take the running back out of the game, and defenses can do that.
Let's say this to Scott. Let's hold this. Let's put this on pause.
Okay.
I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you this because I could feel you burning your keys into your computer, right? Like just pressing them so hard. When we were talking about
your comments about Scott were driving. Like I was laughing so hard.
I know, and it felt bad because like Scott would make a point. I was laughing. I felt like he thought I was laughing at him.
Water, dude. I was laughing so hard just seeing those pop up.
But so the question I wanted to ask you, right, was like, what do you think San Francisco's season looks like last year if they don't have Christian McCaffrey and like Debo was like a running back wide receiver combo, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you think their season looks like with like I don't know, you don't pay that guy. He doesn't come over to your team.
Well, I mean, when you go back and you look and see how we use Debo, yes, we use him as a wide back. We get Debo the ball. We had Elijah Mitchell as a rookie. That dude came out. He was amazing. That dude was averaging I think it was like 6.2 or 6.4 yards a carry. Elijah Mitchell was killing it. I mean, he was killing it. But he took a helmet to the left knee. Then he took a helmet to the right knee. When he came back 6 weeks later, he was out another 4 weeks. He couldn't. It almost felt like teams knew that if they could take Elijah Mitchell out, that you would almost stump us. But we have a lot of young running backs. Bo, we have 5 backs now that are extraordinary. They're great. but they have a unique versatility, right? They block, right? First and foremost, they block, right? I mean, if there's anything that you know about Shanahan's offense, you must be able to block. That means running backs got to block, tight ends got to be good blockers, and everybody, the receivers block. Ayuk blocks, Debo blocks, Juwan Jennings blocks. And that's crucial, and it's a very unique and versatile ability to have. So these young guys can all block, and you got a young kid in Jordan Mason, who I'm assuming would have taken carries, bro. He's like they called him in camp the miniature what's his face from Seattle. Say his name.
Beast mode.
What the hell? Beast
Marshawn
mode.
Lynch.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch. They called him a mini Lynch. He was very versatile, and he runs hard, and he commands that same that contact. He's just young, right? He's young. So I imagine that we would have somehow made it work, right? But I don't know for sure, Bo. I honest to God, I think we would have just pounded the rock and tried to get those downs and extend the drives, and try to be as versatile as possible. I can't even tell you, because CMC changed everything for us.
You
really
think you have
did.
the same season though? Like with if CMC doesn't come, you think you guys get?
I think we could have. I think we could have. I think with three of those running backs, I think we would have got it done. We would have just gone back to 2019.
So that's huge.
We just couldn't do the outside zone run. We have, ever since Mostert went to Miami, we have not been able to execute that outside zone, that speed on the outside and just break the edge. We have not been able to replicate that, not at all. But we just do a lot of power, bro, and we just push it. You know what I mean? And it's easy to do when you've got guys like Trent Williams. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that comes to those blockers, man.
Yeah,
and it works.
See too that you guys had 3 starting QBs just sitting on your bench, not kind of realizing.
Yes,
that was kind of like a blessing to see too. That throw any of those guys in, you guys are still
right,
still contenders. You know what I mean? Like,
you guys ever just sit there and think about how crazy it is, like how close we were to having our 2 teams play each other 3 out of the last 4 years in the Super Bowl?
Oh, no, it was a topic of conversation every playoff, right?
Yeah, just that's nuts.
Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a commercial break anyway.
Brought
to you by insert sponsor here.
Yeah.
If you're a sponsor listening,
Wagnar's Human Rinds for the Futurama fans out there. So what are your thoughts on these teams here, Bo, from what you've seen?
I mean, we're obviously watching second, third string now, right? So it's just it's at that point where just now you just do what we're doing, start talking generalizations of football. But it's just like I said, feels like eating a home cooked meal, man. Watching football on TV on a Thursday night, just something just feels right about it. It's great.
Right.
I think I'm homesick because that's like the 3rd time.
Even if this game is more like a home cooked macaroni and cheese meal than something else.
It's not all that great of a game, but
So that is the game. We knew the game was going to be butt cheeks, though, man. We knew it.
Yeah, that's
right.
But it's football, and it's when you see Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers play calling, damn, for the defense.
Yeah, it's like this is like a preseason game. Don't get much worse than that, but
they're like, you can do whatever you want if you just come to our team.
you can be a coordinator.
Be the GM.
There's Randall Cobb is probably up in the booth right now.
Oh, he was there earlier on the sideline with
Aaron
Johnson. They were sitting there.
They're attached at the hip. Those guys.
Right. Funny.
He's like an emotional support friend.
Right. That's funny. Well, hey, I got some stuff popping off on my phone for work. And we're almost 2 hours in here, so I'm probably gonna jump off.
Yeah, fellas, I appreciate you having me, Scott,
Yeah,
Bo,
man.
Nick.
Good to see you, man.
That's good to see you, bro.
We need to
We've been
always.
talking about getting together for a thing like a season kickoff with
Yeah.
all our
Got another
channels.
beer. I'm in it for the whole game, man. I'm starting my
Yeah,
football.
as soon as Tony is the dude is on daddy patrol. His wife is, she's just nursing herself back to health, and Tony is a babysitting machine. The guy is pulling all nighters. He's exhausted, so he's gonna come back though. He's itching, man. He misses it. He loves doing it. So
We'll do it.
we're definitely gonna have to line it
as
up.
soon as he's done being a bitch that we can get back together.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
My daughter just smacked me for
Right.
using a bad word.
That's awesome.
Nah,
man,
I have two kids. I know.
You guys have fun. Good seeing everybody in the chat.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for
Take care,
tuning
man.
in.
Later, Scotty.
Good to see you, John,
All right.
Nick, Bo.
Later,
I'll holler at
fellas.
you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Everybody in the chat, I'll see you soon. Take care, fellas.
Later, gents. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm gonna be watching this game. I don't know what your plans are, Nick.
I don't know. I can hang on for a little bit.
See how long it takes to get kicked off a stream
Just
broadcasting.
Just try our channel here.
Too many people we can
built up
get
that
just
following
streaming.
over the last 2 years. Now it's permanently banned.
You guys had 2,000 streams on that, or 2,000 views on that one stream. What'd you do?
Yeah.
Oh, we just showed the game. That's all. No big deal.
Hey
Well,
man,
hey.
I think this is fair use. We're talking over it. We don't have the audio going.
Shout out to Uncle Roger too for letting us use it. He said we could use it. If there's any problems, just talk to Uncle Roger at the NFL, and he'll handle it.
Yeah. This was actually part of Aaron Rodgers' contract, was that we were going to be able to do this.
Yeah,
This stream here.
Subclause section C.
You gotta love that these refs are just still in it to win it, man. They're like, we know that none of these guys are actually going to see an NFL field this season, but we just got to make sure that we got that borderline holding call.
You think there's
on the books?
A reffing crew training camp? It's like the reffing crew is like 10 guys, and they're all trying them out, subbing them in out, and they got to whittle it down to the 5 that they want.
Yeah.
We're gonna call 20
I like to
calls.
imagine it's like a battle royale, like in the Dark Knight, where he breaks the pool cue in half, and it's like we only have one position. Why Ed Hockley was always so jacked. Oh, let's see who's
Rodgers
we
must
still
be
got some
talking
people
to
hanging with us here. We still got nine people. We got Brenda. Aaron wants to prove he wasn't the problem in Green Bay. I mean,
especially when coaches start throwing players and coaches under the or other fellow coaches under the bus. Yeah,
I know, right?
I agree with that statement.
It would be kind of funny if it just turned out that he was just doing all of that weirdness just to get out of Green Bay.
He gets there and he's just like military, tight knit. Just everything buttoned up.
What was that movie, The Breakup, where they're just like neither of them wants to leave the apartment?
Right. The Vince Vaughn movie.
Yeah. So he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna start doing ayahuasca and darkness retreats and grow my hair out and just see how weird I can get before you guys trade me somewhere.
It's like trying to get fired versus quitting so you can collect unemployment. Allegedly.
Yeah.
What? What?
What?
Who said that?
Who said
I've
that?
never done anything like that.
So, so you
Far
see
behind
weird stuff
am
out?
I? So like you're seeing my screen.
They just snapped the ball on 2nd and 16.
Okay, so
Ooh,
a
man.
play behind.
Guy just threw a hospital ball down the middle too.
Yeah, this
So what's
is
the
my
weirdest
life.
thing you've seen out there in Kentucky, man?
Cocaine Bear. Did you hear about that movie?
Yeah.
So that movie was based on, it was a movie, but it was based on a series of true events. And the true events is there was a drug smuggler smuggling a bunch of cocaine who had an airplane malfunction and had to ditch a bunch of bags, and a bear did eat the cocaine. That's about the extent of the truth of that movie. It takes a lot of creativity or creative licensing on their part to then exaggerate what happened next on their part. Like the bear in the movie, the bear goes crazy and starts eating tourists camping in like Yellowstone or something like that.
Nice.
But the actual bear was shot and killed. It kind of terrorized some campers, but not the way the movie portrays. And then stuffed. And for some reason or another, the tourist was really, the the people that worked where it's at were very vague about why it's here. And it essentially just boils down to there's a lot of money here. And some guy wanted it. But so it's here at this little like gift shop, like tourist place here.
Does it have like cocaine on its face?
So like they have it dressed up in like a pimp's hat and a gold chain, right? And they have the actual bag the cocaine was stowed in around its neck, kind of thing. That's probably the weirdest thing I've seen in Kentucky, but it's like also the greatest thing. I had to buy a shirt. It's like why not?
Yeah, no, I mean
So
I definitely
funny,
would
right?
too. Brenda, I get it. I like Aaron Rodgers, but I get he's a super polarizing figure, and I don't really blame people for not liking him. He's a super weird dude, and I think his his arrogance probably, or apparent arrogance, probably rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and it's so I don't blame you there. John C saying it's Bolivian blue pearl. That sounds like I don't want to make any assumptions here, but that sounds like an oddly specific reference there.
Very specific. As far as Rodgers goes, I see that. Like, he kind of rubs me the wrong way. What I do appreciate about Aaron Rodgers is his willingness to get on the Pat McAfee show and not be the Manchurian candidate, prototypical football player when it comes to answering press questions. He gets a little bit more in depth and answers a little bit more honestly and from the heart with his questions. And I appreciate his insight in that aspect, but I also agree with him too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, you don't really know much about any of these people. You know what I mean? Like, you just see kind of a two-dimensional representation of what they are and who they are. I mean, on TV, like, you don't really know. And so, but Aaron Rodgers, he seems like I don't know, just kind of a weird dude. He's probably a little awkward. Probably doesn't interact real well with the press. Probably doesn't like them, and so I think that kind of colors some of the perception of him because he doesn't treat them very well. So, and they're the people that it's kind of like a heckler, right? At a stand-up comedy show, it's like, well, the comedian has the mic, dumbass. Like, so they're going to be the ones that are going to have the last say, just like the comedians, or the reporters are going to have the last say. My daughter has this thing every time I say a bad word, she comes up and flicks me or pats me to let me know that I said a bad word.
I hate.
So
is it your oldest or your youngest? They need to come up with
oldest
swear jar.
No.
Make you put
She would love the swear jar, especially if it went to her. Big Doug's asking, you've lived a lot of different places, but how does Kentucky compare?
You know what's funny? Living so many places, when you start to travel to a new place, you build up this idea in your head of what it's going to be like.
Right.
Like when you picture Arizona, you have an idea of what it's going to be like. And for the most part, that's what it is. It's saguaro cactuses. I mean, they have some mountains and whatnot, but like the desert. Seattle, same kind of thing. Seattle is like really undulating. It's like San Francisco. It's really different, really steep hills. That's what I wasn't expecting. But when you like picture Kentucky in your head, right? You're like, I don't know what you picture. It's exactly that. That's exactly what. Okay, there's like horse farms, white picket fences, right? Like,
I just kind of picture some like
hillbillies,
super redneck dude with a straw hat, no shirt and coveralls,
driving a John Deere down the road, right? Like growing up in New Mexico, you get the John Deere advertisements, like you see them. And some people have John Deeres. There's not a ton of grass, right? But then you move to a place out here and you get it. You're like, oh, everybody needs a John Deere out here. There's farms out here that are thousands of acres, and it's just grass. And yeah, it's. But yeah, it's exactly what you think when you think of Kentucky, right? Just exactly what you thought. Straw hats. There's a lot of what they call Kentucky waterfalls here, which are just mullets. That's just the nickname.
Kentucky waterfalls, dude. That's the best.
It's so funny, and people rock them proudly. I applaud this generation.
They are quote unquote back in here. Like a lot of kids have them, and a lot of adults too. They're saying that it's back in, but I think they're like, it's like that deal where they're like wearing mullets, like ironically. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it's not like I know that it's not cool, and that's why it's cool. And it's like, nah, you just got a bad haircut, bro. I mean,
they look like 80s WWE wrestlers. You're just like, what are you doing, man?
You see them all over the place.
2.0 Hall of Fame game. I agree. But no, Kentucky's awesome. Ton of bourbon here. The bourbon and distilleries here are top notch. Everything's here. Obviously, every distillery from Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Woodford Reserve, Angel's Envy, Buffalo Trace. I mean, it's all out here, and they take it seriously. So it's really cool to go get the nerdy aspect of it and have them show you how it's made, show you the nuances of flavors, where all the flavors kind of come from as they draw it out naturally from wood and water and corn and rye and whatnot. It's a cool place.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Laney, banjo music. There you go. Deliverance. Deliverance was more like Arkansas than Kentucky, right?
Yeah. So we drove through Arkansas getting here, and when you get into Arkansas, you expect to hear that theme music just start playing when you're next to any river or creek. Just
Arkansas, man. I've been to Arkansas several times. It's a beautiful place, but I mean, some of the people aren't so beautiful.
I mean, we're there.
That's where we lost our Arkansas audience.
It was brutally hot and humid there in the middle of the summer, so I kind of got like a bad taste for it, but beautiful nonetheless, though. Good choice, Brenda. Woodford's mine is Nick. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, battling over the comments there. Sorry, bro.
If you haven't had it, try their double oak, Brenda. It's fantastic. It affects the speech
out there too, right?
What's that?
Blanton's is out there.
I still didn't hear you. Blant? What are you saying?
Blanton's bourbon.
Probably. Dude, I think there's like
they've got like all the little like doodads on the bottle tops.
That's a thing here. It's like Woodford does it. Angel's Envy does it. Where else did we go? We went to Jim Beam. They kind of use it for like their select reserve bottles. They have the fancy toppers.
So actually, I was watching like how it's made on Scotch, and so like they burn the inside, they char the inside of those barrels, and then like most of the bourbon distilleries, they'll use them, and then only after like they've been used to distill like bourbon once or twice, then a lot of the places in Scotland that make like Scotch will buy them, so they've been used already once by like the bourbon people, and that's like why they have like it has like a mellower flavor than like a bourbon. Like bourbon's almost like a kind of like a rougher flavor, right? Or like a stronger flavor. It's just because of how they're reusing the barrels.
Yeah, and now beer companies are buying those barrels and letting their beer sit in their barrels and doing like they're doing like casks. I think that's what they're called, cask brews.
Chauncey, Missouri. Hey man, that's where I live.
I like Missouri. Fun,
yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, you've been here? I mean, I don't think that really like landmark wise could you tell the difference if you're in Kentucky or in parts of Missouri that you've been in, like up by where we live?
It's similar. You don't really get like your sense of direction until you like live in the area and kind of know.
Yeah.
You know where things are at a little bit. You don't get up and out like you do in the Southwest or the West or even the Northwest.
Yeah, dude, that was the hardest. That was by far the hardest part for me moving here. Is like, in Albuquerque, you always know what direction you're going, because you can look at like Sandia, right?
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
from anywhere in the
East,
city,
right there.
mountains, right? You're like,
And
oh, okay.
and here you're in the hills and the trees, and you can't. I mean, you really can't see, so you already feel kind of claustrophobic, and then like you just really don't like. It takes a long time to develop that sense of direction, like you said.
Yeah, you got to know like business landmark, different kind of landmarks to get your
Right.
sense of direction around. But
Yeah,
like
dude, Laney's been
Lexington's
doing
like,
backwoods Arkansas.
oof.
I've
Yeah, it's
seen
strange.
some people.
Lexington's a lot like San Antonio. They have two like highway loops that are just full
Oh yeah.
circles all the way around the city. And so, you late at night, you're not from the area, you get on one of these loops, start heading somewhere, you think you're going the right way, and you like look down, you're like, west, I need to be heading south, but I'm on the right road.
435
Like,
does that in Kansas City too. We've got that 435 loop.
Yeah. So there's two here, and so it's just like, oh god.
Jim Beam ice cream sundae. That doesn't sound good at all.
There's some batches of bourbon that have such chocolatey and caramel and almost like woody, I don't know, notes that would go great with ice cream. Here they serve like their whatever their select bottle is. They serve it with a candy on the side called a Kentucky ball or a bourbon ball, and it's just a pecan on top of a chocolate with some kind of filling like caramel or a nougat or some kind of fruit filling.
Well, all right. I stand corrected. John C. says like it completed his life basically. Yeah, no, it's probably one of those things where it probably doesn't sound as good, but I guess there's like lots of, I mean, for me, I just never really liked alcohol and milk mixing, right? Like the White Russian, wasn't that like milk and vodka or something?
Milk, vodka, and Kahlua or
Yeah.
Bailey's or something like that.
I did drink curdled Baileys one time though, so that probably is what
That'll do it.
That'll
do it right there.
All that for me. But
I won't be here for the Derby, unfortunately, Brenda. We got here a week after it happened, and we leave next month. So we're not here for horse racing season. This is supposed to be horse country. This is where it's all at.
There you go. Just like all the real men, he left Laney with the canoes while they drove back to get the family. Our house is held up by a cinder block. Hey man.
I mean, at least they had cinder blocks. I saw houses I feel like held up by tires. That was fascinating. There was a house, I swear, they collected old tires. Everywhere on the roof, in their backyard, along the fence.
It's earthquake proof, you know. It's got like a little like a shock absorber. It's a house held up by a tire. Why not just put it on the dirt, bro? Like if you Oh man.
What do you got here? 16-14 still? Man.
Barn burner.
Who do you think we're seeing right now? Third string? Or like
yeah, definitely.
Still second string, vying for spots. As a fan, it's kind of boring to watch now. I could only imagine being a coach though and having to be whittling 90 some odd players down to 50, 56, 55 guys.
Yeah, John. See, I actually don't drink either. You guys see me drinking beers on the show. They're all NA. I don't drink alcohol anymore. We got Big Doug. We got to the pickup point where we left Laney. A couple of families were nitpicking. None of the kids wore a stitch of clothes. That sounds like deliverance, man.
People do disappear in Arkansas, yeah.
Need some new blood. Oh man. Although, like, don't let the stories freaky out. If you ever get a chance to go canoeing in Arkansas, it's
It's
awesome.
a trip.
No, I mean
That's
you
something
guys
to
went,
write
didn't
about.
you? Didn't you guys
No.
go camping in Arkansas recently?
Well, all right. We stayed at. We did go camping in Arkansas this past summer. But like I said, it was the middle of summer, blistering hot and humid. Beautiful scenery, but we did not stick around too long. We just kind of drove through, stayed the night, kept
super
continuing
hot.
on. Yeah. When you like looked at the weather and it was 15 degrees cooler on either side of that state, you're like, let's just keep going.
Yeah. It's. I mean, camping anywhere when it's super hot sucks. We turned in a day early on a camp trip this summer just because we were tent camping and it was just going to be like 90 degrees and it was just like I just don't want to be in 90 degrees and humidity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's different. Like being from New Mexico, you hear the phrase "it's a dry heat," and you're like, whatever. And then I'm realizing that traveling through the South during the summer how glorious a dry heat is compared to a humid heat. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, Brenda, I've done the Current River too. The Ozark. I don't know. There's it's called like the National Waterways or something. That is a beautiful river, man. Just talk about it's got like this almost ocean green water. That's a beautiful float. We did that with my cousins a couple of years ago. Less people on it too than we did the Niangua, and that was just like bumper to bumper traffic on a river for the entire time. Which I guess if you're like in your late teens, early 20s, and you're partying and drinking and stuff, probably be fun. But I didn't. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like being like a frat party on a river, I guess. But wasn't really my jam. So mosquitoes? Johnny? Are you asking Bo if there was mosquitoes when he's camping in Arkansas, or just in general?
Oh, there's a ton of mosquitoes here. Ever since I hit Oklahoma East is just you just deal with mosquitoes everywhere.
Yeah.
So much standing water, so much water in general. I'm from New Mexico where we get like 7 inches of rain annually. So I'm fascinated with how much water the East Coast gets. Speaking of that, like rivers take on a whole new meaning. Like, don't get me wrong, we have the Rio Grande in New Mexico, and that's the third largest river, longest river in.
But not by discharge though, right?
Not by volume. Yeah. Oh, dude, you get over here and you're like, these are something different.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Moving from the desert to here, and I mean, I was born in this area, right? But I moved back in high school, so I basically grew up right from all my formative years in New Mexico. And moving back here in high school, it was a trip, man. Seeing everything green. I mean, allergies, like just bug bites. I mean, just everything being alive, right? I mean, it's just because in the desert things are kind of dry and mostly dead. Even the stuff alive looks dead, But you just outside and you just hear like all the bugs and birds and I mean just everything, right?
There's so many more bugs here, but what I appreciate about the bugs here versus like in the desert is none of them are trying to kill you. They might bite you and leave like a little welt, but like they're not going to take you down for a couple days or like make your skin start eating itself. There's like a couple spiders you got to watch out for, but nothing like rattlesnakes, scorpions, and black widows and stuff. Like it's different.
Yeah, and then those we always called them potato bugs that were down there. They kind of looked like a scorpion almost. You know what I'm talking about?
In the Southwest?
In New Mexico.
Yeah, they're called
Child of the Earth.
Child of the Earth. Yeah.
Dude, those are like the creepy. I used to have nightmares about those fucking things when I was little.
Those are so weird looking.
Yeah, and dude, the other thing underrated about not up here is no goat heads.
Yes, dude, no stickers. Oh, like walking around barefooted in the grass out here. Like I have such crazy PTSD where I'm like, it takes me 20 steps before I'm just
my buddy was taking his kids up to Michigan and they stopped here and Like I was walking out to the backyard, and his kids were like, "You don't have any shoes on," and I was like, and their dad was like, "Oh no, like you don't have to worry about goat heads here, dude." And it like blew their mind. They were like taking their shoes off, running through the grass. Anybody that doesn't know, like in New Mexico, there's these plants that like put off these things. They call them goat heads, and it's like little seed pods, but they literally have just these sharp spines on them,
thorned
and
seeds.
they're they're everywhere, dude. You can't go outside without like wearing shoes. It really, because of that, you can't go like inside your house without. I mean, you're wearing socks or no socks inside your house. Like,
Really,
I
because
mean,
of that, there will never be a professional basketball player to grace this earth because no basketball can survive.
no basketball, your bike tires. I mean, everything, dude. It was a really awful thing like about living there. I mean, just
You
like,
learn how to
I
change a
totally
bike tire at the age of 5. You're like, well, this
Yeah.
is a part of riding bikes in New Mexico, right?
Green
We're like, most
line,
kids don't
right?
learn
With
that
green
skill ever.
tires, and it's just, dude, just all over. They're
Learn how to
every-
change the tire before you learn how to ride the bike in New Mexico.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fire ants. I mean, just yeah.
I remember your guys' house in Rio Rancho had the craziest ants out back next to like the little BMX jumps and stuff, whatever in that lot.
Oh
That's
yeah. No,
awesome.
that was awesome, man. We used to go down there and jump our bikes and try to kill ourselves. And Brenda, I agree, dude. I like the Jets helmets. I think that dark like metallic green is cool. Scott was hating on it earlier, but you know, that's Scott.
I like it better than that lime green or the really light green. I like
Right.
Yeah. Looks like a
Yeah.
classy car or something. I dig it as well.
Oh,
I also
yeah,
dig
Laney
the
Prick.
black helmets. I think the Chiefs should adopt a black helmet. I know Scott would. Oh, there he is. There it is. The vacant lot, baby. He's here. A
Yeah.
little behind, but
Vacant lot.
I want
Yeah.
black
So
helmets,
Prickly
Scott.
Pears, the vacant lot. If you look that up on Google Earth now, that's all developed. You know that?
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's all developed.
No
man.
more
There's like,
jumps.
No more jumps, man. Well, they actually did it. So that was like talk about like a traumatic experience, right? So like there was like this vacant lot by our house, and there was all these trails through the sand, right? And there's all these jumps, and we could jump our bikes, and we always played around there. It's like, I mean, as kids, like that was like the spot where we'd all hang out. There's, you know, it was like where our bus stop was, where I beat up George Soto. For those fans of the podcast, remember that infamous story? That's where that happened. Was at the vacant lot. And then like one day we went there, and it was like they had just plowed the whole thing over. It's just like, oh well,
Really?
you know, I hope you got pictures of that or remember it really well, because it was just instantly gone. And then they never even did anything with it for the rest of the time I lived there. It's like they just like they were planning on starting development or something, but it was just gone, man. But
I'm looking at it on Google Maps right now. I'm trying to find your old place. I'm trying to figure out how to get my satellite.
yeah, John
view.
C. Scott's nobody's sweetheart, but he's comfortable in that role. So, you know. But yeah, even that, like, if you remember, our house had that, like, next to our backyard, there was like that empty lot next to our backyard. That's like that's developed into some commercial building, that house and everything too.
You guys lived off like Unser was your back lot, right?
Yeah, we lived
Winds?
at Summer Winds Drive, man. Yeah.
It still looks pretty underdeveloped right now. Like that lot still looks like it backs up to Unser. But you're right, there are no more jumps. Those two
No,
are there.
I could have swore I
Across
looked
the
it up,
street's
and it was like
completely
a
different.
financial center. But
Let's see here. StreamYard. Stop this for a second since it's commercial. And everybody can just come down our little childhood memory lane here for a second.
oh yeah.
Rio Rancho, there it is. Right? So you do that
Scott played
triangle.
soccer. John, he did not play football. We played football like not in organized. We played football all the time as kids down at the park by our house. But all right, so if you go down, all right, so
It's
if you
that
go
little
down
triangle,
Unser,
right? Essentially.
what
Would have been one of your back lots, the empty triangle. Let me go to this
Summer Winds
screen.
Drive, Black Hills. You need to go further south.
Maybe go south.
Yeah. Go down Summer Winds.
Oh, okay. I see where I'm at.
Yeah,
Oh,
down to, like you need to find like Spring, and Summer Winds and Spring
Yeah,
Boulevard
there it
was
is.
like kind of like where we were. Yeah, so if you look right there, so like, so that's that. You can see all of that stuff down there, like where it says Coldwell Banker Legacy Rio Rancho.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's where that
Yeah,
was.
crazy.
Because you can see the bike path
Crazy.
is still there, right? That
Yeah,
county trail. That's where the bike path was. That's where the infamous bus stop right there at on that bike trail.
infamous.
But hey man, don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, New Mexico.
My daughter's eyeing me over there. This is a good place to grow up. It's cool, man.
It's an interesting spot.
Yeah. Do I like? Oh, there we go. Oh, also the comments and everything. Yeah, Laney, it's developed. It's all gone. It's all Coldwell Banker now. Instead of
I was one
places
block
where
north.
we used to wreck our bikes and get scuffed up.
Going off memory and Google Maps in 2 minutes, missed it by a block. That's close.
That's pretty good, man. I mean, you didn't live in that neighborhood. I mean, you lived like down the street and
Like
to the
3
left.
blocks away. I close enough. I should have.
Walking distance.
It was close enough. I remember ditching our.
I
bus
mean,
stop
look, like I
and
lost
out of your
some
guys'
respect
bus
for you,
stop.
but it's okay. Do you guys know who Jason Anderson is? It doesn't ring a bell.
No, sir, I do not.
Oh shit, they're pumping Mahomes and Goff here. They can't wait for that Rams Chiefs like rehash there, right?
Is this the next
We're
commercial?
behind on the
compared to what's
feed.
been-
Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna say.
looks like they're coming back. It's they're gonna be like last time these two quarterbacks faced each other, 54 to 51.
That was
Dude,
such a good game. Just back and forth. I think there was 5 lead changes in that game.
Scott's telling all the secrets, dude. So that empty lot next to us, we called it the beer graveyard because when we were in high school and we definitely didn't do any underage drinking. We definitely didn't just like dump all of our old beer bottles and cans over
Not in Rio Rancho, New
over
Mexico.
the wall.
No, there was way more things to do there.
Right. Hey, it's based on what I saw from Breaking Bad, we weren't the worst things going on there. So, there you go, Brenda. That was her favorite game until the 13-second game.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's still an argument to be made that Rams game is like one of the better games in football. Period. What was it, like 109 points or something like that? What was the score? 105 or something?
104? 54, 51?
Yeah, 105. Such a good game. So good. I remember I had just found Bert Kreischer, the comedian, kind of like online, The Machine, and
oh yeah, Bert Kreischer.
He was at that game, and this was when like social media is like you could like tweet at a celebrity and they would probably see it. And I tweeted at him during that game, and he tweeted back like, "Yeah, we'll see." I was like, "Oh my god, Bert Kreischer responded to my tweet! Oh my god, this is crazy."
That's awesome, man. Yeah, what's crazy about that game is Mahomes had 2 fumbles lost and 3 picks, and they still scored 50 points.
I know, and I don't feel like we haven't gotten a 50 burger since.
Have we? No, because we always pull our guys, right? We're always up too much.
I've gotten like a 47 in there, 42. Yeah, I don't think we had another 50 burgers since.
I guess we need to back off on it this year and just let it happen naturally. We keep calling for it. Laney, just disregard that. I don't know. He's got bit by a raccoon. So
it's like when you hear like the word Omaha, it's just slang for backyard. That's all it meant. It has no real meaning.
Oh, dude.
Is this game over? Did I miss it? Did I go down memory lane and miss
I
the
mean,
game?
depending on your point of view, it's kind of been over, right? I mean, but no, I think it's still going on. They're just in it's like
Production's even bored. They're like, all right, guys, let's
Right.
get some side interviews going or something. Let's get this crowd awake.
Let's get this guy with the definitely not hair plugs on TV here.
Dolphins fans love Zach Thomas. I think he was the last guy. Zach Thomas was the last guy to wear that big like head pad in the back of your shoulder pads to prevent like whiplash. A bunch of guys rocked it, but I think he was the last one.
It's crazy when you see like the dudes with the old like huge shoulder pads, right? And the, like the head pad. And who's that Bills guy that wore that crazy soft helmet? You know what I'm talking about?
On offense or defense? For some reason, my
Bills player, weird
Eddie
soft
Bruce
helmet. Mark Kelso, safety Mark Kelso. I think that was him.
Kelso.
Look up Mark Kelso and see if you can share the screen.
Should I do Mark Kelso helmet?
Yeah.
Is it about to be like Spaceballs or something? Mark Kelso. Let's see, share.
Who's going to win?
Oh my God! Look how huge that is.
Yeah, he like was ahead of the curve on trying to like prevent.
That looks like the
concussion.
That looks bigger than the practice helmet that they use.
Yeah, you don't remember that guy being on the field with that weird ass soft helmet? Like, look at that thing.
There's the practice helmet right there. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Right.
The Chargers one.
Oh, dude, is there another guy that had that? Is there a 49ers player that had that helmet?
Who is that? Is that
He's saying Jets. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Who is this guy? Oh, wow. The evolution of the football helmet.
How are we going?
Different breed of human playing in leather helmets playing the same sport.
I know, right? Although, like, there's some argument that having some of the protective gear, like, makes things worse, right? Because, like, then...
That's rugby's argument, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, you're not going to be diving at somebody with your head if you don't have a helmet on.
Wallace. Who's Wallace? Mark Kelso and his
I appreciate the support there, John C.
Look how much bigger his helmet is than the quarterback's helmet.
I mean, I'm not rooting for the Browns, Laney. I'm just picking them to win.
Crazy.
It's okay to root for the Browns, isn't it? I mean, I guess maybe not because they're quarterback. Is that what we're saying? Or just because like we just don't like the Browns? I kind of feel bad for the Browns and their fans.
I'm so confused. Why is everybody on the field right now?
Is this like the Hall of Fame thing? Is that what they're doing?
Oh, shit.
I got my TV on mute. We're streaming the game and I'm not even listening.
I have mine on mute so it doesn't bleed into the mic, and we definitely don't get kicked out of YouTube for doing that. Let me refresh this here and see what's going on.
Lights went out? Is that what happened?
Like the Baltimore-San Francisco game?
Yeah, I was going to say like the Harbor Bowl.
I hate to do this, I got to take a little break for a second.
All right, man. I want to be like Garth in Wayne's World when it was just him on the screen and they thought his head was going to blow up. just left me hanging. Oh shit. Solo fish. All right, so here begins my 10-part dissertation on why I am the best member of Chiefs Kingdom Live. I'm glad that you guys all tuned in to my TED Talk. Scanners, Doug's got it. Guys, remember that scene from Scanners when that dude's head blew up? Oh, dude. Man, it's is it weird that like I was so excited to have football back on, but then I was instantly bored with this game? Am I the only one that felt that way? Because I was just watching this just like, oh, well, neither of the starting quarterbacks are gonna play.
No, man, that was anticipated with this game. This game was just like
it's like the preseason guys that are like you think are gonna flash and don't. You're like it always gets me. Like it always gets me. Like
this was like
oh, football's back, and it's like it's preseason football.
This is just the gunshot to start the race, right? It's a long marathon, but it's just the anticipation. Say that after a couple IPAs. Anticipation. It's the anticipation of just it actually starting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's just. I mean, it's the preamble. It's a preamble, right? It's preamble to our going back to try to like. I mean, I really want to win back-to-back Super Bowls, Bo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all do. I love that. That's like the team's goal this year. Like, what a cool goal! Like, it's like one of the hardest things to do, but that's going to be the goal this year. Is back-to-back, baby.
I know, man.
Welcome back, Scotty. Good to see you here.
Oh shit, there he is. You tired of watching me wreck the show solo? Is that what that is?
No, I was gonna try and bail you out so you weren't, sitting there.
I'm having a great time.
Hey man, it does give you a little bit of a perspective on Cole, and how about those Chiefs doing those live streams by himself, man?
You know what?
It's a different feeling for sure, dude.
Yeah.
You know what you can do with your show? You can shove it so far up here, and the plane flies over. The doctor's got to get some tweezers and pull it back out again at the end.
So the handle breaks off.
What a funny ass movie. What happened to Mike Myers, man? Like after the Austin Powers shit, he just like disappeared.
Yeah. It's like that trying to top one of your greatest things, right?
Right.
That was He nailed it with Austin Powers. What are you gonna do? You're always gonna be known for that character now,
guys.
All right, so I gotta
find fans out there like John C. That's all I gotta say, man. I appreciate you, John.
I'm gonna show off some shit here.
Oh yeah.
If I can.
All right, I've already seen this, so I'm gonna dip out for a second. Hold on.
Well, if I can figure out how to get the camera to switch, hold on a second. Settings, camera, back camera, bam, there we go.
Let me see. I'm trying to get you soloed here. Did you get something else for your basement now?
I got some new stuff, man. So I got the flag up.
Nice.
This is the Chiefs' den. Like I've been broadcasting down here a little bit. I might have to take the cheat off the wall, man, if he keeps talking shit. But dude, Nick got me this picture of this arrowhead.
Oh, that's dope.
Dude, and it's like you can't, I don't know if it'll zoom in or not. But it's
signatures.
Dude, no, it's Mitch Holthus's call of the Super Bowl written out in script to like make this fucking Chiefs thing.
Oh, sick. Which Super Bowl? This last one?
54. The one against the Niners.
Awesome. So at the end, he runs to immortality.
Right. Yep. And then I got my Dirty Dan picture up.
There you go.
Yeah, I paid extra for that.
Dude, that Caitlin.
Is that the pencil chick?
Yeah,
the chick that does that shit with pencils.
So this chick draws these
Smelling?
things with colored pencils, dude. That's sick detail. Like it's fucking. It looks like a picture.
Yeah, she is.
And then I
unreal.
got the huge Tony G finally put up. I've had this thing for like 15 years. And I never had a wall big enough to put it on. I actually had to tuck about a foot of it up behind it because it was like hanging on the fucking floor. So yeah, so that's the Chiefs Den, man.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When you
off of it, but
John C's right. Your background's been picking up lately, right? When you broadcast now, it looks like you're sitting in front of a green screen. It's so clean and like
right.
Looks good. Looks crisp.
Got the Patrick Mahomes pillow. Patrick Mahomes, the lunchbox. Patrick Mahomes, what the action figure, right, or whatever.
Do you have Chiefs billiards balls?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
No, I don't. I did get the red pool table though.
Yeah, it sets it off. Looks good.
Anyway, that's it.
They had those like scoreboard deals that they had on, that blew up on YouTube or Twitter for like a couple of days. And I was like, maybe I'll get Scotty one of those. And then I looked them up and they wanted like $4,000 or something. Stupid.
Yeah, I don't think my ceiling's tall enough down there for that thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I was thinking what you could do with that Pacheco.
I think I got a 10-foot ceiling down there. I think you'd probably have to have like a 12.
With that Pacheco fathead or the Tyreek Hill fathead, you could just like get a picture of Pacheco the same size, just cut out his face and put it in the helmet insert so it doesn't look like Tyreek.
I mean, I thought it was cool when I got that Mahomes custom painting, and then Scott's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I got these 3 fat heads, and I got this artwork that's colored pencil. It looks better than yours." But
I feel like I restarted this. This doesn't seem like it's live. I feel like we watched this guy already. Oh, the joys of internet streaming.
Right.
At least, hey, we're still getting comments, so they haven't taken us off of YouTube,
No, we got like the most OG of the OGs, John, C, and Brenda in the chat still.
I know. And Laney and Big Doug are still there too.
Right, they are. I can't see that. I haven't seen them comment. So, but I'm on my phone too, like I said. So I'm
right.
You tipped them off to Beer Garden,
my phone died.
And they skedaddled.
Right.
Oh, the Browns are still running it.
All right. I asked you this at the top of the podcast. If this was 2.5 hours ago, you said a lot of sense. Scott, who on these two teams would you consider taking for your fantasy team? Besides, I mean, there's the obvious Rodgers and Wilson on the Jets, maybe the Brees Hall, and then on Cleveland, right? We talked Chubb, obviously, Amari Cooper, and Njoku. You thinking anybody else outside those 6? Essentially, I mean, those aren't terrible, but I don't know if I'd be like going after any of those guys. Maybe Chubb.
No. There's a lot of people that seem. What's the receiver's name that went from? I think he went from the Jets to the Browns. Actually, what's that guy's name? Elijah Moore.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Sounds right.
People that are high on him,
you guys aren't going to pick up Mecole Hardman? Didn't he go to the Jets?
He did.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, Mecole.
What's that?
I think that's
No, I would not be
Mecole.
picking up Mecole Hardman. I'd let him sit on waivers and see how it goes for the first 3 or 4 weeks. Sorry, I'm wandering around the house here trying to find something.
I wish I could. Oh, what's the star mean?
Doug's there. Yep, we're still here. Knew about the beer garden too. This was always way too clean after a trip.
That's
Santa
not
Fe towels.
remember I got nailed. I remember I got nailed one time. We had a big old party at the house, and the folks came back home, and we had all this beer in the fridge, and I was like, whatever you all do not drink the Miller Genuine Draft. Like, that's not ours. Like, there's all this beer in this fridge that, well, of course, that shit got drank, right? So I got someone I knew to, like, get me another case of MGD to put it in the fridge so that, you know, Pops wouldn't notice that someone drank his case of MGD. And he was like, man, I had to go out of town more often. I was like, why is that? He goes, because when I left town, I had a 12-pack of beer in the fridge. And when I came home, I had a case. I was like, oh, shit.
I thought you were going to tell the story about, like, when we had the party and the house is, like, torn up and we, like, spent all night, like, just cleaning it up, waiting for mom and dad to get home. And then we got the house perfect. And then, like, mom and dad get home and they're like, why is there this receipt for all this alcohol on the dining room table? They left a receipt for all the booze on the table. And Scott's quick thinking was like, oh, I was walking in the house and there was trash in the driveway and I picked it up. And I guess I just set it on the table. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's weird. It has the name of the credit card on the receipt. It says S. Rogers.
Browns
That's
take
weird.
the lead. Oh, snap.
Yeah, there you go. I called it, man.
Off this play? Oh, look at that. Guys earning another week right there.
All right. I'm jumping back off. I got to get a couple things done, then I got to get to bed. 5 o'clock comes early for me, so.
Yeah.
Comes an hour earlier for me.
Good seeing everybody in the chat. Appreciate everybody watching. It was fun checking this game out. Maybe we'll have to do this next weekend for, like, the Chiefs game or something. First preseason game for the Chiefs.
Our game's Sunday night.
Yeah,
next
Sunday
week.
So maybe
we have the last game,
something like that. But yeah, good seeing everybody. Appreciate the views and the likes and everything as well. Brenda, I see you. Good night. Yep, take it easy down there in Mississippi, and I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, later, bro.
Later, man. 21-16.
Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm going to grow my hair out. I'm going to do so much today. Ayahuasca if we lose this game.
I'll spend the next 4 days and night.
Give me the number of that darkness retreat. This is some bullshit. Losing the freaking Browns. Oh, dude. All that stuff, I'm just like, thank God we got Patrick Mahomes. Honestly, do you do that? Like, do you just like sit there like 3 times a week?
Oh,
and just
dude.
Go like,
between the franchise coming out yesterday and like quarterback coming out last month and just Super Bowl, just this year especially has just been like reflection, just and you just gotta like savor it because it's only so limited. But then you're like looking at like the careers of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and these guys are going 18 plus years. You're like,
right?
Do we get to be blessed with that? That would be so. Oh man, could you imagine this for 15 more years?
4 presidential terms. 4 more presidential terms than Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, I would. How amazing is that going to be?
3-4 more presidents. Still the same Mahomes.
Did you see the interview with him and Nate Burleson?
No, I did not.
He did like a 25 minute interview with him. My mom sent it to me, and it's just like there's just the guy never slips, right? Like he even when he's like being off color or whatever, he like does it in a way you're like, dude, that guy's fucking awesome. But that interview is really good. I mean, he's they touch on like his wife, and he's like, man, she like helps keep me going. She there's times where I'm like trying to maybe rest, and she's like, you got to study, you got like game and stuff. And then I mean, he talks about how like he wants to be remembered as a great player, but he wants to be remembered more as like a good person. It's a really good interview. You should check it out. You know, I like Nate Burleson. He was on
Yeah.
Good Morning Football, right? And then he left, and that show's kind of imploded since then. But yeah, you should check it out, man. But yeah, I just like there's just several times a week where I just reflect. I'm like, dude, that guy's the quarterback for our team. How lucky am I? Just after so many years, man. I mean, it's just like you see these people that are struggling, and that's everybody's trying to, you know, get what we got in Kansas City, right?
Oh, dude,
I mean,
I know, and like especially with the recent conversations we've been having with Scott about like just revolving around the running back and the value of that, you definitely realize the
right.
value of the quarterback, and like you're just analyzing the value of position groups, right? And you're like, well, yeah, quarterback deserves that, and then you start looking at our quarterback, you know, like, dude, he's changed the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have asked Scott this. I wonder if he's changed the game to the point where like he's making Veach and front offices and management start thinking like we got to change the way we're approaching the game because this quarterback. I mean, to Scott's point, right? Like you have to have a great quarterback to win. Like
Yeah.
you can have great receivers, you can have great running backs, but if you don't have a great quarterback, you're probably not going to win the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, you can win
Every
games,
once
but
in
you're
a
not gonna
while,
win
like
the thing.
every once in a while, you'll have a team that'll sneak in where you'll have like the Ravens, right? Or
The
you'll have
Steelers.
the Steelers. You'll have like, I mean, even the Peyton Manning's last
Giants.
Super Bowl, he was a shadow of his former self, and it was really a defensive win there, right? So, but yeah, I mean, by and large, if you want to, you know, play the odds, like you got to have one of the top, 5 quarterbacks in the league if you want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. And
So,
yeah, and it just to have Mahomes here right now, it's like, yeah, I try to savor every minute of it. We were talking about like Drew Brees last night and what he did for the Saints. And I just remember at that point being a Chiefs fan, like being insanely jealous of that guy, just how poised and collected and how football smart he was, knowing just being able to read defenses, knowing where to put the ball, and being able to actually execute that too. It was just, it's just so gratifying, like, right, like just to be in this position finally, just like yes, and right, yeah. I sit back all the time, just thankful. I mean, it spawned this show, man. You know what I mean? Like it's fun hanging out like with you guys again and everything. Like we got something to revolve around.
I mean,
too many Matt Castle games.
You can keep going on. I mean, if you want to talk about levels of impact, I mean, just the level of impact it has on Kansas City I mean, just think about the amount of times the city gets mentioned. You know what I mean? Like how many thousands more times just people like say the words Kansas City together just because he plays here, or like the financial impact of you know, like the merchandise and all the businesses that have sprung up and all the people that like create their own little like trinkets and t-shirts and things around it. Like there's a whole economy around it, like our show, like you said. I mean, it's just like it's so crazy how just a few people can have that kind of impact on the city, right?
Yeah, like
it's just
almost. That's a
yeah. I mean,
it's a great phrase.
there is a whole economy around it, and I mean, it's just I don't know. There's like I remember like, you know, like some of those losses where you're just like, I mean, ashamed isn't the right word, but you're embarrassed by like how your team performed in big moments, and it's just Scott and I have been to so many playoff games where we went there and we're like, dude, we're definitely gonna win this one, right? And we're like, I mean, I hope so. And then it's just like,
oh, what's that? Romeo Crennel decided to be offense and defensive coordinator and special teams coach. Like, what are you?
Oh
what?
my gosh. Why did we only give Jamal Charles the ball 9 times against the Ravens in the playoffs when one of them was like a 30-yard touchdown? Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, you got it, John C. Like he's just super special, man. It's just
to
This
go
is
off
nuts.
what you were
This is
saying,
crazy.
like,
I just
he built it. Yeah, he was able to like do everything you just said, but he I feel like he also put a level of respect on the Chiefs name, almost like what Brady did for the Patriots. Like the Patriots weren't like a powerhouse, a team to consider.
yeah, they weren't
You know what
shit.
I mean?
Oh no, they were a
Yeah,
laughing stock, man.
and then they did what they did, and even to this day, there's still that idea of like, well, they still have Belichick, and then like they're still the Patriots, you know, and so it's that I feel like what he's doing is going to ring long past even when he's here. And like, well, it's still the Chiefs. They still got this aspect and stuff. It's he's once in a generational player.
Yeah, I mean he's becoming the Jordan, right? I mean, you know, like you saw it this year. I mean, he had his moment, and let's see, John C. My mom and
C. I
dad
wouldn't wear
crushed
my
it.
Chiefs gear when we lose back then.
Our mom and dad crushed it anyway. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I know. I mean, I know what you're talking about. There's times where it was hard to put on the jersey, bro. It was like those 2 and 14 years were pretty tough.
Had to justify your position a lot more back in the day versus people just going like, "Oh, Chiefs fan, huh?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Laney. I mean, he's invested in KC. Like he's bought into the teams here, right? Like he's literally part owner. He's brought Whataburger here, right? I mean, just the impact just keeps going on and on, right? That's
he's owner
job
of the
creation.
Royals,
So
right?
now he's like on top of all that other stuff, he's like a job creator. He's part owner, yeah. He's
part owner
got
of the Royals.
like a
He's part owner
it's like
of the
1% or something, but
the Current, right, with him and his wife.
Sporting Kansas City, I think he's part owner. His wife, his wife is bought into the Kansas City Current, and they're building a new stadium right down by the river.
His wife, right? Like, can we?
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
He bought into it. Right? I mean, she's a famous influencer. I'm sure she makes some of her own money, but I don't know if she's buying teams money as an influencer.
Hey man, you seen that Eddie Murphy skit? Half.
You seen the Bill Burr skit about Michelle Obama?
Probably, yeah. I don't recall it right offhand, but yeah, I mean it's
saying if he had a plumber, would you ask his wife about it? And getting off topic anyway.
Yeah, you're getting off topic. Well, look, I mean, I like my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and so I get it. Like, I mean, half of what I have is hers. You know what I mean? Half of what I make is hers. That's just the way it is. And so, like, she wants to buy something, she bought it, even though, like, I mean, I'm the one that has an income. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, he allowed her to be able to do that. But the point is that they're invested into, like women's soccer, right? And they're building like that stadium. It's right down there off of
Brittany's worth $250 million. I'm so sorry to cut you off. Is that real, Brenda? She's worth that much money? Oh, I see. Half. Oh, I'm sorry. Late to the party. Couple of these. I'm with you. Half.
Kick that mouse, get it turning on the wheel. So, but like that stadium they're building was pretty cool, man. And I've always wondered why we didn't have stuff down by the river. It's always just kind of been like either industrial or like, and so if we could get that revitalized down there and get some stuff built up around that stadium, that's gonna be like cool for the city. It's been a good few years for Kansas City, man. The Royals won the World Series in 2015. Right. AU's won a couple of championships here, right? Sporting KC won MLS Cup. That's going on 10 or 11 years ago, but Chiefs won a couple Super Bowls, man. We're kind of punching above our weight for a sports city.
What was you? There we go. Words.
What was you?
What was your take on the mock-ups that came of the Chiefs renovations? Like there was some sketches of like putting a roof over the existing stadium to completely redoing the whole thing.
I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen them?
Seen them. Maybe you pull them up.
Let me look for them real quick. They're really interesting.
I know that everybody's super locked in on this Hall of Fame game, but was she a pro player? I think she played pro in what they said it was in Iceland, is what they said on the quarterback thing, I think. Is that she played pro soccer in Iceland or some other country for a little bit. So, yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. It was because Nick Farley was down by the river in his van. Yeah. I do live in a van down by the river, John.
Of course, I bring up that story and I can't find a picture to back it up. Where did I see that at?
We did develop the river and the mob screwed it up. Dang, we're gonna have Laney on the podcast to explain that sometime. I don't really know how all that works.
My recollection of everything down by the river was it was housing, like apartments and everything. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. It's most of down by the river, like on the river is like it's nothing or industrial stuff.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm not familiar with the area at all, but I'm just trying to recall from a couple times I have visited. I can't find an image of this at all to save my life. This stadium. I don't know where I saw that 3D rendering of a roof over Arrowhead.
You have to dock your salary for this episode, man.
Yeah, take it out of my check, man. I'll find
it. So I'm game for most things, I guess, but I'd really like to keep the stadium mostly untouched and still open. I mean, I've been to like indoor domes. I've been to games in indoor domes, and I've been to some of the new, I toured the Viking Stadium. I didn't go to a game there, and I said this on Twitter. I really don't dig the feel of those stadiums. It feels more like you're like at a luxury hotel or something rather than a football game. And,
or like a casino or something.
Casino, that's another. Yeah, there's some sort of sterile feeling to it, and there's just, I don't know, something empty or hollow about it, the way it feels to me, that I don't get when I'm at Arrowhead. And look, I get it more than anybody because I've been to some cold ass games. I've been to rainy games, been to games in the snow. So I get that, they want to be able to reduce that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game that's played outside. It's an outdoor sport. It's not like baseball where you get rained out and you can't play.
Can you see that on my screen?
Yeah.
It's essentially just a roof over Arrowhead.
So that's what they call the rolling roof concept, right?
Yeah.
And so they voted on this 20 plus years ago. So if you look, you can see there's tracks that go all the way over to Kaufman there. So the concept of this was when they first built the Truman Sports Complex, was that there'd be this giant roof that was going to be $500 million, and then it would roll between the stadiums. So if they needed it for the baseball game, it could roll over Kaufman. If they needed it for the football game, it could roll over Arrowhead. And so that was part of the original concept and design there. Okay. And when we renovated the stadiums, like when I think it was around 2000 when we voted on that was on the ticket. And they said that we would have got to bid on one of the Super Bowls. I think it was the 2020 Super Bowl, if we had approved that, but the city didn't approve it. It was just going to be like $500 million or something for the roof. And then because of that, they didn't let us bid on the Super Bowl. And then like 2 years later, MetLife opened and they had it in New Jersey and open air. So we felt kind of screwed by that, but yeah, so
you would know better than I do. Are the Royals staying there? Are they going downtown?
So they're trying to move downtown, right? But unfortunately, they're like 35 and 80 or something. So They're not getting a lot of public support for us spending a bunch of money on a new stadium right now. I mean, they're on a win
Still
streak right
100
now.
games to turn it
I'm sure
around.
Laney will come in and say that, but the Pringle roof.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Pringles chip sitting
it
right on
does.
top.
So,
I'm not a fan of the roof,
yeah,
man. I think
I agree,
I'm
Scott.
a
Like
fan of.
we went to those games in St. Louis, and it felt hollow. It's the only way I could describe it, or sterile, right? It didn't feel, something felt wrong about it.
There's
But
something
I'm sure
about
that
like open
do
air
it.
stadiums, though, dude. Right? I know what you're saying. Like one of my greatest memories is going to Arrowhead. It's -11, and we're having to kick our seats to get the ice off of them, and then watching these guys, like I don't know, they look like they have a little bit more fun when they're like slipping and sliding in snow. I appreciate a
It's
good
just more
weather
real,
game.
man. It's less
It's just one
artificial,
of
right?
those. It's one of those random things that affects both teams equally, and you still, I don't know. It's I dig it. Yeah.
And on top of that, it allows for it to be easier to have real grass. And I mean, players like playing on real grass more. I think they get injured less. So I don't know. I think that if you were to talk to most of the fans that have been to Arrowhead, they would say like try to maintain as much of it as you can. And that kind of goes back to also like what you're saying with the helmets and having black helmets. Like Lamar Hunt, I heard he was a real strong proponent of trying to have like a continuity of look of the team, and that's why like they never changed the look all that much. They made some small tweaks and stuff. So I think that's why like we don't have those really bizarre, like alternate uniforms and helmets and stuff. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, some of I understand that tradition. I get it, but some of it's a little unavoidable, especially when they like select teams to do throwbacks and stuff. I don't know. There's just something about a black helmet that looks.
I think
I don't
that,
know.
yeah,
Almost
but
intimidating.
if you look at the percentage of successful uniform changes, right? Like it's not really high. I mean, for the most part, like 90% of these new uniforms or alternates that come out, people just kind of shit on. So there's not like a lot of, I mean, I guess you'd still sell, if you're just trying to sell extra jerseys and stuff. But I mean, to be honest, you can just, if your team's good, you're going to sell jerseys anyway. So
yeah, the real catalyst for a change in jersey is when a team moves cities. That's really the
right.
only changes we see, right?
North
I do
Kansas
dig
City
the
would be dope.
Oilers throwback uniform
Oh
that's
yeah.
coming out. That's cool. I like the Oilers logo and colors. I think that's gonna be sweet.
Yeah. The Royals in North Kansas City would actually be a good fit. I think
I'm
there's a
with
lot
you,
of potential in
Brenda.
there.
I'm kind of pissed how many interviews are going on. Could you imagine if this was a regular game and they were doing that? Luckily,
I
no one's
mean,
paying attention though.
yeah, no. So it's why you tune into Chiefs Kingdom Live so you can hear us talk about like the vacant lot next to my house that I grew up in as a kid and whether or not it got developed.
So we've seen like 30 penalties this game, Nick. How you think reffing's going to be this involved this year? Think this is a taste of what's to come, or do you think they're just testing out systems?
Or maybe the guys that are playing just like aren't as disciplined as maybe the starters would be. They don't have as much
That's
experience.
true.
I don't know, man. There's a lot. I hope not. I mean, nothing bogs down a game like lots of penalties, right?
Completely.
I mean, the refs are supposed to be pretty much invisible. You know what I mean? And they're supposed to be there to keep like egregious things from turning.
You see that production truck right there on the screen, on our screen, not on your screen, where they're just showing the crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't understand why they can't have a whole nother production truck just like that, full of referees for instant replays or these calls where you have enough time where you could get a consensus of 10, 15 guys all in the same room looking at multiple angles, have them do a quick little vote system on the computer in front of them, get a general consensus and be like, this is actually what it is. It's fascinating that reffing is still such a point of contention when there's clear cut rules, there's instant replay, there's 10,000 frames a second. And I know a lot of these fouls, like some of them you need to like watch a play in real time to see whether or not it is. But a lot of these fouls, like holding and stuff like that, like no, you just see it happen. There it is.
Dude, how long until they can have like an AI tell within a matter of like 4 milliseconds whether or not like something was a catch or a fumble?
For me, it's like 100% right. Why couldn't they put an RFID chip in the football to let you know if that ball crossed the line or not? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like sensors along the goal line. Like the fact that we're still using these measuring sticks where a guy runs out 20 yards into a field and sets it down and then like, oh, he was this far off. And like, well, if that guy set his stick down just that much over, right? Like it's.
What are you saying? That's like kind of ridiculous that we can launch the James Webb Telescope 1 million miles from Earth, further than the moon, and get images from it, but we can't tell whether a ball crossed a white line on a football field?
That's exactly what I'm saying. A little ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you wonder like how much of that might be the refs union too. You know what I mean?
Job security. I think, yeah. Well, if you get a little pod with a little production company, let's call it the backup officiating system, BOS, BOS system for fixing refereeing. Just get a little pod of all these refs, right? Like it's job security. They're going to be in the background, but they're also going to be making the right call with every angle possible.
Yeah.
As long as you get like a general consensus, right? Like a 70% majority.
You need to watch a movie called The Man in the White Suit. It's an old science fiction movie. And it's about this guy who invents this new type of cloth that never wears out, and it can't get dirty. It literally repels dirt. And he like makes this white suit out of it to try to show it off. And he thinks like he's done this great thing for the world because he's invented this new technology. And all that happens is he ends up getting attacked by the people that own the mills, and then also the workers in the mills, because they're all worried about like losing their businesses and being put out. And I think that's like, anytime you have new technology, that's just going to be one of the things that's going to happen, you know. There's going to be like a pushback because these refs, they don't want technology to take over their jobs, because if you have technology take over, then like, you know, you don't need as many refs.
All right, so to address that point, I would say add more refs, right? More than 5 refs in that pod. Like, let's get 20 refs watching this shit. Let's get them salary paid by the NFL. Let's get some more guys in there with the call, more consensus. I'm sure there's a way to eliminate bias, but you're always going to have some bias. That's why I'm saying if you get 20 guys and you get like a general consensus, I'm pretty sure you can eliminate a lot of.
And Brenda has a good point there too. I mean, maybe they don't want fair, you know, refereeing for other reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, line your pocket kind of reasons.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting why they haven't done it. They've done some electronic strike zone stuff though. Is that in the minor leagues, or is there like another league where like they can appeal? I think I saw that maybe in the minors where they can appeal the strike zone to the electronic one if they think that the ump called like a bad strike or ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a good way to do it too, because then you're not waiting on like somebody checking like, dude, that was so close.
That was really close. No, yeah, that happens in soccer too, right? It's called VAR, the virtual assistant referee. But to like Laney's point, you can't take all the human out of it in soccer or football, wherever you're from. it's almost gotten to the point where it's just 3D reconstructions of what happened. And you're like, well, show me the actual picture of what happened and not these 3D images of what the cameras see. And so, I mean, you can kind of see some room for manipulation in that, but it's one of those things. If you look at other sports or most sports, all sports, they all, what's up?
I shouldn't be watching on my TV. I should just be watching the feed here. I'm gonna turn it off.
Hey, something exciting is gonna happen right now. Is that what you're telling me? It's like getting a text. Oh my god! You're like, what? What? Just watch. Here it is.
Doink! Oh, how do you not catch that ball?
John V talking up that defense. That is third string defense, though. It's not first or second.
Nah,
everybody's resting, but
and again, then you're just sitting there going, "Oh man, that guy blew his chance, right?" But
no, at some point, dude, these sports have to adopt technology. I mean, I think back to just living here in Kentucky. We're talking about horse racing, right? Like they used to be a photo finish, and now it's slow mo, and then they went to infrared lasers, right? So it's just like it I understand the fear of like taking the human out of it or even like eliminating some jobs, but ultimately it creates a new industry and it creates new jobs. And
no, for sure.
There it is. There's the interception.
He's gonna get one in there. he was bound and determined to throw that ball to the other team. Yeah, that guy's gonna tell his grandkids about the time he picked off a ball like in a preseason game if he doesn't ever make a team. I mean, I'd brag about that. I don't care. I was never very athletic, but if I had made an interception in an NFL game, even if it was a preseason game, and I never made the team, I'd be like telling my kids about it every day. Polk High, 4 touchdowns, one game.
Sold me my first Avalanche. I couldn't tell if he was like trolling me or telling a story. You know, this is before like the internet was as big as it is. But he was saying that he used to play on the practice squad for the 49ers when Rice was a receiver for him and stuff. And dude looked yoked like an athlete and everything. But Albuquerque, New Mexico, maybe you end up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's tens of thousands of those guys out there. You know what I mean?
What do we have? 40 seconds? Should we call it there, Nick? It's been 3 hours, 12 minutes.
Oh, you're gonna bail with 40 seconds left in the game?
Well, no, it's victory formation. That's what I'm saying. They're bailing on the game. I think everybody's over this game.
Hey man, we've got the most amount of viewers now we've had all night.
The broadcasting team's even like, we can't do any more interviews. We don't know what to do here.
Nick, talk about some more 1960s sci-fi movies that nobody cares about.
Can you guys talk more about Rio Rancho, New Mexico? That's way more interesting than this Hall of Fame.
Tell the George Soto story again.
It's a bully. Woo.
It's so funny now. Every time we have a fire in our fire pit in our backyard, my youngest, she goes, "Dad, tell the story about when you guys were camping and the coyotes were coming for Uncle Scott." Like when we were at Elephant Butte. She's like every single time now.
Your oldest is about to be the age where that happened to us.
I know. That's wild, right?
That's wild.
It's so crazy. So, yeah, we just got to keep moving forward, John. It's going to get better. It's back. I mean, baby steps, you know? It's baby steps. So
we might even see a glimpse of some Mahomes magic next week. I don't know. You think he plays the series next week?
He might play the first series.
I don't think
Depends. So. You think? I mean, his ankle's got to be 100% by now, right?
No, yeah, I would imagine his ankle's good. If I recall, last year the first game he didn't play.
Right. It was like the first game he didn't, and then it was like one series, two series, and then it was like the first half or something. I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it was really limited. I was surprised at how limited it actually was. It didn't seem like they ramped up to start the season.
Right. How old? How many? I got 2, and they're 5 and 8, John. 2 girls. So they're
Did you
awesome, man.
Did you tell your dad about the magic trick I tried showing your oldest?
Oh, dude. So you want to do the magic trick?
No.
So Bo, he like we're getting ready for the show yesterday, and my oldest is down there, and she's talking to Uncle Bo, right? And so Bo's like, "Hey, check this out!" And he pulls out these 2 coins, and he's like doing this magic trick, and like one of the coins just like disappears, and he's just like, "Well, yeah." He's like, you could tell he's like, "What do you think about that?" I'm like, dude, my oldest just ruthlessly goes, "This is how that trick works, and I know how it works, and you did this and you did that," and Bo's just like,
explained
"Oh,
the mechanics of like
well."
how something was built at like, oh, it was fascinating.
Well, and it's like, well, I guess I'll just go F myself now. Bo, you could just tell he was just like, I thought I was safe
so
doing that for the
defeated.
8-year-old. And it turns out that her papa gave her that like literally exact same gimmicked magic trick, and she just eviscerated poor Bo. And
Like, all right, so like the trick involves these 2 coins specifically, and the funny thing is it's a 50-cent piece and then just a random bronze coin. I'm not sure where it's from. It doesn't have a country name on it. It's the exact same one.
literally
And
the exact same trick.
I can't even do, like the coincidence, the odds of that happening are just.
So you say you picked it up at a garage
mind-blowing.
sale in Kentucky, right?
No. I've had this for a while, right?
Oh, okay.
I was saying it was a garage sale trick when I was telling you that. No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I've had this. I was into magic before I was a teenager. I feel like I got this when I was like 10 or 12 years old, somewhere in there. That's what's blowing my mind about this, is that's how old this trick is.
So my dad got that. I don't know. He might have got that at the magic shop that used to be in New York. So like it was a gimmicked trick. Yeah. There you go, Big Doug. And I taught Brooke how to perform that trick. I love magic too. Yeah. So like it was wild that it was like, I mean, because then I had the same coin because it's the exact same trick, and like I don't know why it was just sitting on my desk because I had found it on the floor because kids leave shit laying around everywhere. It was just, I don't know. What are the odds?
But yeah, Nick's like, oh yeah, it's this coin right here, and I'm like, yeah. How do you have that? What is going on right now? This is so
your
weird.
Magic trick, Bo.
Dude, everybody knows that. Everybody has that magic trick, Bo. Like,
I'm offended that you showed that to me.
I've never once tried to perform magic for your kids. I've been around them multiple times. It was like I've never tried to do a card trick. And the one time I tried to do a trick, they just like, oh yeah, my granddad got me that trick. I know how that works. It works like blah blah blah, blah, and just totally pops my
cool
balloon,
story,
man.
bro.
I did make her laugh. I was like, sorry, my magic trick stinks. I just hear her laugh as she's walking out of the room.
I mean, you probably made her feel cooler because she knew the trick than if you had fooled her, right? So
she show 100 kids that trick, and they wouldn't know that. And the fact that your kid is like, oh, I have that trick. It's dude. I was. We were friends when I was into magic, but I don't feel like I ever like showed you guys a magic trick.
I mean, I don't know. Have I told the story about the cell phone at Arrowhead on this show? Have I told you that?
No, I think you told it on the show, but same thing where you call it.
Just like, I mean, I just like pick up a phone in the parking lot, and I like it starts ringing, and I'm like yelling because it's loud, and like the dude in front of me like turns around, he's on the phone, he's like sitting in front of me. I found their phone. This is the parking lot. Yeah, even so even crazier. I don't know if I told you this one. So you remember that Joplin tornado that happened about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Like where like a couple hundred people died. So we were volunteering, and we went to help like some families for our company, like that were living in that area, like try to help like round up their stuff before it started raining and stuff. Because like, you know, your house gets obliterated, but then all your personal belongings are scattered, and you like, you know, so like you don't want your clothes or photos or whatever to get rained on. So we were going and helping these families. Well, one of the houses like had completely collapsed on top of itself, and we were trying to get at the underneath side to get some of their family photos off the wall. And so like this tree had fallen on top of the walls, so they're trying to chainsaw it. Well, like I'm digging through like the floorboards of this house, literally inside the floorboards of this house, and the chain comes off the chainsaw, and like we're like, you know, it's not like you can just go to Home Depot. The whole city's trashed.
Right.
And so like we're trying to like we're stuck, right? We can't like the chains off the chainsaw. And like the guy's like, I wish like, does anybody have a socket wrench? And I'm literally digging through the floorboards, and inside the floorboards of this, like the foundation of this house, there's like a socket wrench, and it has the socket. I'm not making this up. Has the socket on it that fits his chainsaw. It's like a 5/8.
Wow.
It's just like, all right, man. You know, I maybe not like super believer, but I mean, like you're like, all right, maybe somebody's looking out for you. You know, like trying to help these people out, trying to help them get their stuff. But sometimes those 1,000,000 to 1 odds, they just happen, bro.
Dude, I remember showing this trick to my aunt. Like I think it was like 10 or 11. That's what's so strange about it. It's just the coincidence is just baffling.
I know, right?
I've had these for so long, and then like the fact that so I went back home and I saw them back home at my parents' house. And I was like, oh, I remember that trick. I'm gonna take it with me. And I put it in my truck. We ended up getting a new truck, so I had to empty out everything in my truck. So that was just sitting here on my desk this week, right? And I like I said, I've never tried to do that to your kids. Never tried to show them a magic trick before. I was never that guy to your kids. And like we were just sitting there before the show, she just pops on screen. I was like, oh, this will be kind of fun, right? Like I'm getting it. And just so strange. But
that was the best.
Too. So happy.
That was my favorite.
Oh man.
Oh shit. Well, we're at 3.5 hours, man. I'm stoked that we had so many people stick it out with us for this long.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
So fun.
Thank you for commenting, being a part of the show. We can't thank you guys enough. This is so much fun to do, and you guys are a huge part of it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get some more content out there. We're gonna maybe do some more streaming of some games. Try to get some maybe shorter format videos out. We're really trying to push. So, you know, we want to get to the intermediate goal is 500 subs. At 500 subs, like it opens up some monetization, so maybe we can get some cash flow coming into the show. And the big one is when you hit 1,000 subs. That's where you really can start having ads on some of your videos, and we can turn this into like maybe like a show that pays us a little bit of money. Right now, we're just doing it for the love of the game, but you know, the ultimate goal is to be able to do this and make some money. And then we can reinvest that into the show. We can do more giveaways, you know, we can have like even bigger prizes. We've got a lot of stuff that we're looking to give away here for this 500. We're kind of going all in on it. So we just appreciate you guys. We really do. It's great having the same folks show up week after week. If it's a great community, and it's really one of my favorite things that I do, man. It's just get on with you guys and talk shit. And we argue with Scott about running backs, and we have Brenda and John C. and Doug and Laney and Shippy and all those guys in the comments. So really appreciate
so much
each and every one of you.
Yeah, we really enjoy doing it. We really enjoy responding to you guys. Thank you guys so much for leaving comments during the show. It really helps keep the show moving, and we just enjoy talking to you guys too. So yeah, with that being that, we'll see you guys next week. As always, go Chiefs, huh?
Let's go Chiefs.